Thanks, Vassos. Don't fall in. Carrow Road now. Norwich City against Nottingham Forest. Can Nottingham Forest stay back in winning ways with 2 in a row? Can Norwich City say unbeaten at home in 2011? Crunch game in the Championship. We have it for you here on your 5 Live Sport. And in the commentary box, it's Darren Fletcher, Steve Claridge and Ian Bryan.
Yes, thank you, Colin. We're hoping not to see too much diving here in East Anglia. Friday night at Carrow Road, and we're into the final straight in the race for the Premiership. Norwich gunning for automatic promotion, while the best Forest can hope for, it seems, is a place in the playoffs. Norwich start 3rd in the table and Forest a full 8 points behind in 7th place. The two teams are out, a very colourful scene. Norwich in their yellow and green, Nottingham Forest in red and white. Both sets of players wearing armbands as we remember the victims of the Hillsborough tragedy exactly 22 years ago. Of course, Forest were Liverpool's opponents that day, that fateful day in Sheffield. Norwich were playing in the other FA Cup semi-final. So black armbands for all of the players as they line up for the start of this game. It's a very dry and clear night here. The pitch has been well watered and was set for what should be a good game. Norwich making 2 changes. Houlihan and Jackson coming in. Vokes and Pacheco go out. So the big news for Norwich fans is that Grant Holt is fit and he plays. As for Nottingham Forest, 3 changes. Earnshaw is out. Tudgay and McCleary also dropping out of the team. And in come Boyd, Tyson and McGoldrick. The full lineups in just a second. But a quick word from Steve Claridge. What are you expecting tonight? Norwich, having not won their last 2 games away, have fallen out of the top 2. And Forest have finally won for the first time in 10 matches.
Well, from a Norwich perspective, it's almost a no-lose situation. They've got to go for it. They've got to try and win a game of football. They're going to be in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. Their aim now is to secure that top spot, the top 2 spot, and they'll only do that by winning the majority of the remainder of their games. So there's only one thing on their mind. And Forest, they've got to be a little bit careful. I mean, a draw here isn't the worst result in the world for them. They want to not get beaten. That's the most important thing for them. So probably a little bit different, but both sides no doubt will be eager to get the 3 points.
Well, the two teams have been told to swap ends by our referee Neil Swarbrick, so that gives us time to run down the lineups in full. Starting with the home team, Norwich City. They have Ruddy in goal, and then Martin, Whitbread, Ward and Tierney across the back. Fox is the holding midfield player. Ahead of him, Crofts and Sermon. Houlihan playing in behind Jackson and Holt. The 2 strikers who between them scored all 6 goals in the last home match here for Norwich. A hat-trick apiece against Scunthorpe. Jackson scoring his hat-trick after coming off the bench. As for Nottingham Forest, it's Camp in goal, then Maloney, Chambers, Morgan and Konchesky at the back. McKenna holding in midfield. Moussi and McGugan in the widest areas, and McGoldrick behind Boyd and Tyson. A new look strike pairing for Nottingham Forest, and a new formation as well. Billy Davis going with the diamond formation, which more or less matches that of Paul Lambert and Norwich City.
Yeah, this will be interesting actually. I mean, we think he's going to go with the diamond formation. It's just going to be interesting to see exactly where McGoldrick fits into the picture, because if he does, all he's going to do basically is match up and go man for man and say, there, that's your job, that's the player that you're going to play against, that's the person that you've got to get the better of.
Well, we're underway. The ball is out of play immediately down beneath us. We're overlooking the half of the field being defended in this first half by Norwich City. So Norwich playing from left to right in the first half in their canary colours, the yellow shirts and the green shorts. And straight away the ball has been misplaced in the stand. It's been retrieved, and the right full-back Martin takes a throw up the near touchline, looking for Grant Holt. His fitness a big boost for Norwich City. He's the leading goal scorer, the captain of the team as well, and he's also appearing here against his former club. The ball is back with the Forest goalkeeper Camp, and he finds McGugan on the halfway line, but the tackle comes in and Forest have to start again with Konchesky on loan from Liverpool. Long ball up the near touchline. Across comes Elliott Ward to poke it out of play for the throw in for Forest. McGugan is going to take it. In fact, he's going to leave it for Konchesky. So we're in the first minute here at Carrow Road on 5 Live from the BBC, the M-Power Championship. Big match this, of course, at the top end of the table, and a throw in for Forest again. They're making their way up the near touchline. The throw in is taken by Konchesky again, short to McGugan. Back to Konchesky on his right foot. High ball looking for Boyd at the far post. Boyd heads it back. And here is Moussi, the Frenchman, trying to make a little bit of progress. There were appeals for handball against him. He's still battling close to the corner flag on the far side. He's done well, actually, to feed it back towards Boyd. But the tackle is won in the end by Houlihan for Norwich, and Forest have to play it back into their own half. But Forest on the front foot in the opening exchanges here, Steve, and they've got the ball again on the far side. Chance to cross, and it comes high. It's above the head of Boyd, and that will bend away for a Norwich goal kick, but a little bit of early momentum for the visitors.
Yeah, we know exactly the way that Forest have set up. I mean, for me, what you've got is McGoldrick playing just in behind the front two. He's going to stop Fox from playing, there's no doubt about that. They are going to match up. They instantly look, when they haven't got the ball, they know exactly what player they've got to mark, they know exactly what part of the pitch they have to be in when they haven't got the ball. When they have, there's obviously going to be that's going to be relaxed, and they're going to go and take up positions where they're hopefully going to, from a Forest perspective, be able to win this game. But it's going to be an organised game for Forest, and one that almost says to me, tell you what, if you give us a draw at the start, we'd probably take it.
Well, it's 0-0 at the moment as a clearance from the goalkeeper. Ruddy has been deflected into the net, and Nottingham Forest have scored an amazing goal. Nathan Tyson it was who charged down the clearance from goalkeeper John Ruddy. It ricocheted high up over the goalkeeper, off his chest and into the net. Well, we watched in bewilderment there as the ball floated towards the goal. It's scarcely believable, but Nottingham Forest have taken the lead. It's Norwich 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
He's not too happy either, Ruddy, with what's gone on now. I mean, the ball's gone through to him. He's come out of his box, and for some unknown reason, it's just like everything. Why he doesn't just put it out of play, I don't know. He decides that he wants to keep the ball in. Tyson just hangs out a leg basically, and it hits almost his back or his bottom or whatever as he turns his back on the ball, and somehow the spin on the ball and the way that he's connected with his back has taken it back towards goal, and unfortunately for Ruddy, into the goal.
I can't believe the ball went into the net from that position, because it wasn't directly in front of goal, the clearance.
It was on the edge of the box.
It was right on the far corner of the penalty area.
Gives you some idea of how far it's travelled, and the sort of the trajectory and the spin on the ball to take it into the goal from there. So yeah, an odd one at that, and I don't quite know what Ruddy's complaining about, because really basically he's got to play safe and just kick the ball out of play and then organise again from there.
He wasn't impeded in the slightest there. No. He had a chance to make clean contact with the ball, which he did, I suppose, but straight at the opposing player who was closing him down. He just jumped in the path of the ball, Nathan Tyson. He had no control over where it was going, but somehow it span into the back of the net, and that might be the kind of break that Nottingham Forest need to get back into those playoff places.
Well, the last time I watched them play was Leeds, and they came off that pitch feeling a little bit hard done by. So as we know, it all evens itself up again, and if they are to win this, then they're in the box seat with regard to the playoffs again, aren't they? So there we go, things can change around very quickly.
And at the moment they're doing a bit of a favour for South Wales too, because both Cardiff and Swansea, I would assume, would like Norwich to slip up here as they battle it out for that second place. Reading, the other contenders there. The ball is hit long to the edge of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. It's headed away. Grant Holt was guilty of a foul though, and that's a free kick already taken by Nottingham Forest. Fed up the near touchline towards Tyson, but Ward intercepts for the home team, and here's Fox, the holding man in midfield for Norwich. Back to Whitbread, the other centre-back. So Norwich have got to recover from the shock of conceding that goal after just 3 minutes to Nathan Tyson, and Norwich can't feel sorry for themselves. There's work to be done here. Only a week ago, actually, last Saturday morning, they were 4 points clear in second place, but since then just 1 point from the 2 away games, while Cardiff have taken 6 points out of 6, and it's all changed around, but it can change back the other way just as rapidly, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I said before the game that, I mean, in all honesty, anything other than a victory for Norwich, I think a draw, a loss, there's nothing between that. They need to win this game. I'm just thinking about it psychologically. A goal down, all of a sudden we've got to get 2 to win this. So a real blow this early in the game, because as I say, they can only a draw, only a victory tonight will suffice for Norwich. They're going to get in the playoffs, I think, but if they want that top 2, as you said, only a victory tonight will suffice.
They are, of course, searching for a second consecutive promotion. They're coming forward now with Sermon down the left side of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. They haven't threatened at all yet, Norwich. Here's Tierney, the full-back again. Chance maybe to cross, he delays. Sweeps it back to Sermon, into the edge of the penalty area. Andrew crossed to the near post. Jackson was in there competing, and he fires it wide. He thought it was a corner. I thought it was going to be a corner, and the only man in the ground who didn't think it was going to be a corner was the referee.
It's good defending from Wes Morgan, you've got to say that. I mean, as the ball comes in from out wide, it's a decent little ball from Crofts as well. And Wes Morgan gets there, and he probably does actually get there first, Wes Morgan. But I think he's probably earned that little bit of luck, because it's good defending, it's good position, and he gets himself in front of Jackson and doesn't allow him to cross him.
I still think it should have been a corner. Maybe the referee's a bit tired. Mr. Swarbrick from Lancashire, he came the same direction as me. If it took him as long as it took me,
yeah, I mean,
he's looking forward to his bed, I'm sure.
I know the feeling as well, believe you me.
Here's Houlihan back in the team after injury for Norwich. He's chopped down by Chambers, and it's a clear free kick for Norwich inside the Forest half, taken quickly to Crofts inside the penalty area, trying to get goal side of McGugan, who stands up strongly. This time it is going to be a corner though. Corner for Norwich City on the near side, and there's the first roar of the evening from a shell-shocked Carrow Road audience, because the home team are a goal down. 7.5 minutes played here on 5 Live from the BBC. The corner being lined up on this near side, driven towards the 6-yard line. Was it handball against Moussi? Well, he slipped over. It was Wes Morgan actually. The ball seemed to bobble up onto his hand, and the referee waves away the Norwich appeals, and it's going to be a throw only for Norwich on the far side.
He might just have been caught behind Elliot Ward there, but that looked to me, the way that the ball died as it hit him, seemed to me as if it hit his arm more than anything, so he might have just got away with that.
Yeah, Wes Morgan it was. He's involved again with a tidy interception, and Sermon then is guilty of a foul in the Norwich midfield, and it's a Forest free kick inside their own half. So Norwich 0, Nottingham Forest 1 on 5 Live. Another busy sporting weekend, of course, with the 2 FA Cup semi-finals coming up for you on Saturday and Sunday. Free kick to be taken by Lee Camp, the Northern Ireland international goalkeeper as he is now. Deep to the edge of the Norwich penalty area. It bounces through and is cleared away by Martin. Have you seen a replay of the handball?
Yeah, 2 good shouts. I mean, McGugan just before that has handled the ball, and then Wes Morgan does so. I think they'll consider themselves a tad unlucky there, Norwich.
Well, they have a throw. Houlihan takes it back to Russell Martin, the right full-back, who always loves to come roaming forward. Houlihan supporting, has got the ball back. Tries to twist away from Chris Boyd. Was he pushed over by Boyd? I think Norwich have got the decision this time. The referee's always, of course, more likely to give it outside of the penalty area.
Yes. I think with Wes Houlihan, not massively quick, so he doesn't probably get away from players as quickly as he might do, and there once or twice there, because he lacks a little bit of pace, he gets caught because he plays the ball round people, they come in and he's not got away from them, so they just catch him, and that's what's happened on 2 occasions there.
Well, Fox is going to take the free kick for Norwich, only a couple of yards in from the near touch line, well inside the Forest half. He's got the 2 centre backs to aim for, and Holt the captain. It's in high towards the far post. Holt is there, and Grant Holt has scored the equalising goal for Norwich City. Just 10 minutes played, a fine header by the captain, and it's 1-1.
Too easy, just too easy. I'm sorry, but you've got Sky Moussi, who has to sort that out. If you're going to defend, I'm not sure that you have a centre midfielder marking their best player in the air. I'm not quite sure about that, but Holt peels off. He's too strong, he's all over Moussi, but he's much too strong. He's pulling him, he's pushing him, and in the end all he does is come in from behind, puts his arms on his shoulders and heads the ball into an unguarded net at the far post. And as I say, I'm not sure that centre midfielders, no matter how big and strong they are, should mark the best headerer from the opposition, and clearly that bears me out.
A very straightforward goal celebrated in the grand manner by Paul Lambert on the near touch line. So Norwich City, after conceding after 3 minutes, level in 10. Here's McGugan down the near side for Forest. Decent ball in, too close to the goalkeeper though, and Ruddy distributes straight away to Tierney down the far side. So both teams have conceded rather soft goals in the opening minutes of this game. Sermon down the far side for Norwich City, closed down by Moussi, and the ball has been bundled out of play off the Frenchman for a Norwich ball on that far side. So Grant Holt up to 22 goals for the season, and they're pretty pleased he passed that fitness test.
Yeah, I think that might have been his 20th in the league, I think. So they play with the right tempo. They're slow starters, weren't they? But they've really got this game going now, Norwich.
Took them a while to really get going.
Yeah.
But here they are with Sermon into the box. Houlihan, tricky turn. Turns away from goal in the end, but opens it up for Martin, the fullback. Bit of space for him on the edge of the area. Flicks it wide to Holt, who's peeled out and gets the ball in towards the near post. It's laid back to Russell Martin, who drills it into a defender. It ricochets away, and Nottingham Forest survive for the time being with a long ball forward from McGoldrick. Tyson will chase it. He's quick. He gets there. Level with the penalty area. Taking on Whitbread. Floats it high into the box. And in the wrong direction for Chris Boyd, over the top of his head, out for a throw in, and Boyd is full of complaints.
I'm not kidding. Andrew Sermon there, the ball's come across, he's made a run to the near post. I think he would imagine that someone would have gone with him, would have been tight, but he's got time to take a touch, turn and hit that towards goal. Centre forward would have thought about that first of all. He doesn't. He plays the ball back, and Russell Martin comes in for a shot, but Sermon clearly isn't aware of what's around him there. That was a fantastic chance that he didn't take. And Tyson now, I mean, the problem with Tyson is he's so quick, he gets away from people. When he's in the position, then he's got to steady himself, but he's trying to do it at 100 mile an hour, and that's why Boyd's complaining. Settle yourself down and then look for that quality ball into the box.
Well, time was on his side, but he didn't take advantage of that. It remains 1-1 on 5 Live from Carrow Road here in Norfolk. It's been a fine day, just a little bit colder now as the ball is cleared away by the Norwich goalkeeper Ruddy. He'll be a happier man now that they're on level terms.
He does that well, doesn't he?
Quite a battle between Holt and Chambers, and Holt has won himself the free kick.
Does it brilliantly, Holt. Gets himself in front of people, grabs hold of them, keeps them nice and tight, and then draws the foul. How many times do we see that?
Yeah, he's won this free kick, and of course he's just scored against his former club, which is an added bonus for him. Now we're going to see a free kick taken by Fox again. The last one of these, of course, resulted in the goal. And Fox, hands on hips, is about to deliver this one in again, right-footed. Holt is there again, of course, beyond the far post with Crofts. It's played deeper towards Tierney, the full-back, who's made a good run in there. Heads it back across the penalty area. It comes out towards Crofts, but there was a handball offence by Sermon. It bounced up and hit him on the arm. Surely that was no worse than the 2 handballs we saw by Forest players.
Absolutely. Do you know what, as well? I think they were so enthusiastic there, Norwich fans. I think they actually shouted handball, but it's actually their own man who handballed it, so
yeah, it was.
Not to worry.
Tierney's gone down injured
run,
as well.
It?
Yeah, he got round the back.
He did. That's the one thing that will worry Billy Davies. The amount of times already Norwich have got round the back of his side.
And as he headed it across, he took a bit of a whack there from a wild boot from Guy Moussi, and Tierney went flying. While there's a stoppage here and Tierney continues to receive treatment, we can get an update on the Premiership Rugby Union tonight. Newcastle against Northampton with Ed Marriage.
Yeah, 16 minutes gone here at Kingston Park. All Newcastle in the opening exchanges as they look to haul themselves off the foot of the table. Jimmy Copper with 2 penalties from similar positions wide right. Northampton have yet to wake up. It's Northampton who trail 6-0 to Newcastle.
Newcastle, of course, battling against relegation there. Here, it's all about promotion in the football from the N-Power Championship. It's Norwich 1, Nottingham Forest 1. 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes of this game here. The ball is fed wide by Forest to the near side. Konchesky is getting forward from a left back. He comes in field, still wants it on his left foot, in short to Tyson, back to McGugan. In comes the challenge, beautifully timed by Ward, and out for a throw in, and Tyson this time is down with an injury.
Not Tyson.
Who is it?
I think it's McGugan, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he played the 1-2 there with Tyson.
I mean, he knows what he's doing, Ward. I mean, you know, the tackle's a strong tackle, but he's going to go through him as well, isn't he? Yeah. It's just what he's done is he's run the ball, but his momentum carries him through, and he knows what he's doing. The defender, look, bang, there you go.
Well, the right foot followed through, and it was a nasty crack on the shin there, wasn't it, for Lewis McGugan?
He'll do well to get up from that one, actually, to be fair, because that's bent him up as well. His knee's sort of gone with that as well, because his foot is planted, and that always takes the brunt of the force of the tackle. If you get it off the ground, your foot will go with the tackle. It was planted, and that's why it's hurt so much.
So Billy Davies will be anxiously awaiting news from the physio, who seems to think that McGugan is okay to continue. He's back up on his feet. He'll have to go off though for a few seconds. Tierney, who was injured for Norwich, he's fine, back in the left back position. So 1-1. Russell Martin has the ball. He's going to take a throw in. The right back for Norwich City, former Wycombe and Peterborough player.
I was with Russell at Wycombe. Got some decent ability, Russell. He's playing in midfield there. I think he's actually playing wide right, but he's got decent ability.
But he does come forward from right back, doesn't he, for Norwich, and he's got some important goals. I remember he scored in the very last minute to snatch a 1-1 draw here against Cardiff, and you just wonder in the final analysis how important that equalising goal that day might be.
Is that a strike high into the net?
It was, from a very narrow angle.
Yes.
The ball is hit long here by Norwich, and it's through for a goal kick. A reminder of the table: Queen's Park Rangers, it seems, out of sight, notwithstanding that inquiry, of course, into the player who, allegedly wasn't signed in the proper manner. Queen's Park Rangers on 82 points, Cardiff 72, Norwich 71, Swansea 70, Reading 69. And of course key games coming up tomorrow, which will be covered on 5 Live, along with the Premier League and FA Cup semi-final. The ball is hit long again by Norwich. That's twice they've done that, and it's again straight through to Lee Camp, who bowls it out to Konchesky. A forward ball to the big man Chris Boyd, who tumbles over, and it's been given as a free kick. Well, I thought that was just an awful bit of play, really, by the big Scotsman, but he's been given the free kick. I think just handed it by the referee. That wasn't a foul there, was it?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much contact was made from behind, but it's certainly his first touch wasn't great, and not an awful lot, to be fair. I think he realises that he's overcooked the touch, and down he goes. It was, to be fair, he's the right side of the defender. If he has a good touch, then Whitbread has been caught the wrong side, and he could have, whether he's got the pace to get away from Whitbread, I don't know, but if his first touch is good, he's certainly got a chance.
Well, good options over the dead ball here for Nottingham Forest. The free kick is less than 30 yards out. McGugan on his right foot, or Konchesky on his left. There are 5 in the Norwich wall. McGugan has scored some absolute crackers this season. Here he comes, and it's 2 yards over the top.
No, never. I mean, we're side on. It never really looked like it was going to trouble the keeper there. Good opportunity, to be fair. Just about the right distance for him, but he doesn't get it up and down quick enough.
Well, he's recovered from that bruising to his shin, hasn't he?
I was going to say that. He'll know about that in the morning. I know that.
Long clearance from the goalkeeper, Ruddy, for Norwich. Headed away, though, firmly at the back.
That's a foul.
By, who was it? Maloney, who got the ball away there for Nottingham Forest. Here's Morgan, the big centre-back for Forest. Strikes it up through centre field. Tyson flicks it on pretty well. Boyd will chase, but he rather lumbers after that one, and Russell Martin gets the ball away. But it's presented back to Forest, and McGugan. Neat skills by him. He's got the chance to lay it wide. He plays it instead to McGoldrick. Now it is out on the far side. Maloney coming forward for Nottingham Forest. Hits a shot, and it's only a yard wide of the far post. But I think the goalkeeper had it covered, and it wasn't the most forceful shot you've ever seen. No, he comes inside, and what happens if you're on the right hand side, you take it with your left foot, come inside, you've got to hit it the far post. He doesn't. He takes the narrow angle, hits it near post, somewhat sklaffs it across the keeper, and never really a moment's concern there for Ruddy. Brendan Maloney in the team in place of Chris Gunter, who's been dropped by Billy Davis for the last couple of Nottingham Forest games. Remember their victory over Burnley on Tuesday was their first in 10 matches. In mid-February they were top 2.
Yeah, that was
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it looked like it was games in hand, didn't they? And they're looking in a really healthy position, and now you take a playoff spot, bite your hand off for a playoff spot.
They were on a sensational run, followed by an abysmal run. It's strange how that happens, really. Here's Maloney again, forward for Nottingham Forest. They do have injury problems, of course. McKenna missed a few games. Blackstock's been out for a long time. They've missed him, of course. The ball is hit forward by Norwich to Sermon. Sermon, left side of the penalty area. In comes the cross. Morgan gets the ball away with a flamboyant header. Only as far as Cross, though, who pokes it back wide again to Sermon for Norwich on the edge of the penalty area. Checks it onto his right foot, then turns the other way. Tierney's available. Sermon goes for goal and hooks it wide. Well, I wasn't expecting him to go for goal from that area, but he chipped it across the face of goal and wide. It was about 2 or 3 yards wide in the end.
Good opportunity. You can see what he means. As he ducks back in, he sort of like pirouettes, turns a complete 180, and then sees the keeper. He's just on the angle, just to the right of the D and just then goes to chip on the angle to the far post. You see he looks up. He doesn't quite skip. If that's on target, that's in, by the way.
His brain was definitely ticking there because the easy ball was there, of course, out to the left. And he opted to try and catch out the goalkeeper.
It was on though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely on. Here's the goalkeeper who was caught out earlier, Ruddy. There's clearance charged down for the goal to go in from Nathan Tyson for 1-0. Now it's 1-1, of course. Grant Holt with yet another goal for Norwich, drawing them back onto level terms here. And we're almost midway through the first half as Konchesky comes forward in the red shirts of Nottingham Forest. Infield it goes to McKenna, the captain. And now on to McGoldrick, out to Tyson. Back to Konchesky again. Left-footed ball into McGugan. McGugan has Maloney in a lot of space, roaming forward from right back. Now what's the cross like? In it comes. Not bad for McGoldrick, it just bounces away from him and through to the goalkeeper, Ruddy. I thought McGoldrick might have gone for that, but he let it run to the goalkeeper. Here's Russell Martin at the other end, and a sliding challenge is beautifully timed. And it's out for a throw-in. It was Boyd getting back there. So we're halfway through the first half exactly. It is 1-1. And to take us through to half-time, it's Darren Fletcher.
Thanks, Ian. Normally you try and come up with a decent comment at this point when you change commentary. I think tonight I'll just ask for a definition of the word sclaffs. Not sure it's actually a word, is it?
Not a great contact on the ball.
Sclaffed it across goal. Sclaffed. Sclaffed. From the Claridge English Dictionary.
Let's get the serious stuff out of the way. How do we work these chairs so we can actually see the game instead of sitting 6 feet back further than anybody else, by the way?
We're on these rotating chairs who...
Unbelievable. They only rotate backwards.
Yeah, they only go backwards, so we're nowhere near the desk. You can't actually control them. If somebody moves on the seat next to you, you go with them. It's like the waltzers at the fair, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I think if they do get in the Premier League, note to Delia Smith, new chairs in the press box, please. So 1-1, it's been a really good game so far. Forest with that freakish opener from Tyson after 3 minutes. Grant Holt with his 20th league goal of the season with a towering header. Typical goal really for Holt, and since then Norwich City have settled down into a rhythm and they've been the better team. But Forest have shown, particularly with the pace of Tyson up front, that they will pose a threat here tonight. Konchesky's throw in into the penalty area towards Tyson was prodded away by Ward. Tyson crosses and the block comes in right down by the corner flag from Crofts, and it's out for another Forest throw in about 2 or 3 yards away from the corner flag on this left-hand side as Forest play from right to left in red and white in the first half. Good run along the byline by McGugan. Can he pick somebody out in the middle? No, he can't. It'll fall for McKenna now on the edge of the penalty area, driven back in and headed away from the edge of the 6-yard box by Fox. Picked up then by McGoldrick. Time and space for McKenna. Infield it goes to the Frenchman Moussi, who didn't control it well enough. It was taken off him by Sermon, and now Norwich City can turn defence into attack with Sermon over the halfway line. Here's the lively Wes Houlihan, who's going to run at Chambers. Still Houlihan just outside the D and finds nowhere to go, so he turns back and brings Crofts into play. And now Martin, the right back, who loves to get forward, out to Holt on the right edge of the penalty area, crossed in towards Jackson and headed away by Morgan from the edge of the Forest 6-yard box. They break so quickly, Norwich City.
Well, both fullbacks are having awful lot of joy because they're both playing the diamond. The fullbacks can come on into those great big wide open spaces, and Maloney one side and Russell the other, having bags of joy. That's the out for both sides, both the fullbacks, particularly the right fullbacks.
Norwich haven't lost here since the 11th of December when Portsmouth won at Carrow Road, and they score plenty of goals on this pitch, 40 in the 20 league games they played so far. And Jackson might be in here. He's got the ball over Camp's head, who got something on it, the Forest goalkeeper, and then was able to sprint back and pick it up inside the penalty area. He did really well, didn't he, Camp, there?
For me, I mean, he might have just mistimed that run, Camp. He's gone down a fraction early, but he gets his hands up and he gets that little bit of luck that he deserves. The ball just hits him, ricochets and stays with him and within his grasp, and he can clear it. It's a great good save that. He goes down to the ground but gets his arms up, and as the ball's lobbed over, he just gets a touch.
Must have been in Camp's mind as well that any contact on Simeon Jackson there, it would have been a penalty and a red card, wouldn't it?
Got to think about that too.
The referee had played a good advantage as well during that move because Houlihan had been fouled off the ball. Forest coming forward now, red shirts and white shorts. Paul Konchesky midway inside the Norwich half, lifted into the penalty area, headed away by Whitbread only as far as McGoldrick's shot over the top of the bar. He's certainly a striker in form at the moment. David McGoldrick scored both goals against Burnley on Tuesday. but he couldn't find the target from the edge of the penalty area there. Let's check on the Aviva Premiership Rugby taking place tonight. It's a big one at Kingston Park. Ed Marriage.
Yeah, and last time I was here I said Northampton hadn't woken up. Well, they have now. A try for their fullback, England fullback Ben Foden, after sustained pressure. Stephen Myler has converted, so has the Newcastle revival been short-lived. Newcastle 6, Northampton 7.
Thanks, Ed. They're underway as well in the Engage Super League. Leeds and Huddersfield. You can hear that game over on 5 Live Sports Extra if you want to listen to that. That's scoreless so far. We've just seen that Bob Bradley, the United States coach, is here tonight. Making notes. I'm not sure about who. Chambers under pressure. Holt on the far side. Chambers able to get it back. Ian Brown tells me Zach Whitbread is the player that Bob Bradley is watching tonight. Just thinking as well that we've probably got two of the livelier managers in the Championship on the respective touchlines tonight. Billy Davis and Paul Lambert haven't sat down, and they've got pretty eager coaching staffs as well. There's a whole rabble of people just a yard or so off the pitch down below us. There's an old firm element to it as well, of course. Paul Lambert linked to Celtic, and Billy Davis started his career at Rangers. 28 minutes gone, 1-1 on 5 Live in the Championship. The start of a really big weekend of football, weekend of sport in fact, on 5 Live. McGugan into the penalty area, good run, rolls it back to Moussi, hits the post, should have scored, Norwich survived. Guy Moussi with a brilliant opportunity for Forest.
Tell you what, how many times McGugan done that? That's the second time where he's just flicked the ball round, turned, got down to the byline, beat his defender, pulled the ball back. This time Moussi's on the end of it. It's a good strike, I've got to say. I mean, as it comes across you, to go the other side, you've got to be really, really accurate. Hits the inside of the post, comes back out. And he's a little bit unlucky because it hasn't been the best of nights for him so far.
Well, he's only 22, is Lewis McGugan. He's a real prospect for Forest. He's probably been their best player this season, with scoring goals and creating quite a few as well. And he's shown a real ability today to run into the penalty area and make things happen for Nottingham Forest, and they're coming forward again. They're having a good spell at the minute, Billy Davis's team. Konchesky on the left, infield it goes to the edge of the penalty area to the danger man McGugan. Now McKenna, and McKenna out towards Brendan Maloney, the young right back, preferred to Chris Gunter tonight. Forward to Moussi, Moussi shows too much of that to the fullback Mark Tierney, and it's out of play for a throw in to Forest in front of their pocket of supporters on the far side in the Gerald stand. Just looking around Carrow Road, it's a sellout tonight. There are 1 or 2 empty seats in the Forest section. It's a pretty strange journey from Nottingham to East Anglia. Crossed into the penalty area, and that's cleared away. I've never seen so many tractors and articulated lorries as I did in the 3.5 hours it took me to get here. It's not just you on the M25 who's had a problem, you know.
I'd have settled for being behind a tractor, believe you me.
I've actually yet to find anybody other than someone from Norwich who has an easy journey to Carrow Road.
Incredible.
They're very hospitable when you get here. It's a lovely club to come to, but it's a nightmare to get to. So 1-1 in this big game in the Championship. If Forest draw, they'll be into the top 6 as it's crossed into the Norwich box towards Boyd, who attacked it and heads it over the top of the bar. What do you make of Chris Boyd? He got this reputation in Scotland as a bit of a flat track bully. Scored lots of goals against the lesser clubs. What have you made of him since he's come to England?
He's done an awful lot to change that perception, has he?
I thought you could answer that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's undoubtedly he's a goal scorer. He would come into that sort of category, but he hasn't played for anybody who's really given him the opportunities to get those goals. He looks a bit heavy as well at times, so maybe his mobility could be questioned, but no, you give him the chance and I'm sure he'll start sticking them away.
McGugan tidies things up inside the Forest box at the expense of a throw-in on the right-hand side to Norwich City in their canary yellow shirts, green shorts and yellow socks. The throw-in is about level with the edge of the Forest box on the right-hand side. We've played just past the half an hour here, and it's 1-1. Tyson with the Forest goal, Grant Holt with the goal against his old club for Norwich City. Hit forward towards Tyson, whose pace is a real problem to the 2 centre-backs of Norwich. This time Whitbread is able to come across. Yes, he is.
With Nathan at Wickham, and there aren't too many quicker than him, actually. So, they can do that. They can play deep. They can not allow Norwich in behind them, and then they can break and use his pace just to knock the ball in the channels, and he'll get after it.
Konchesky on the left. Infield to McGugan, spins away from the defender Ward, and then it's played into the Norwich penalty area where it's cleared away by Martin, only as far as Maloney. Floated back in towards Chris Boyd, away by Whitbread partially, and then volleyed away by the left-back Tierney. At the moment, Forest are having a really good spell. Norwich were on top after the equaliser, but Forest have just taken that momentum off them, and they've got a throw-in just inside the Norwich half on the right-hand side after Sermon had closed down the young fullback Maloney. Maloney's throw-in down the line to Musi, who's hit the inside of the post for Forest in this match as well, and he wins another throw-in, which is level with the Norwich City penalty area on the right-hand side.
I don't think anybody's, nobody's actually holding back tonight.
No.
It's been a fantastic game of football.
I think as soon as we got the early goal, Steve, that set the tone, didn't it, for tonight?
But it's carried on. I mean, there's been no downturn in the tempo. It's certainly a very, very decent game to watch.
McGoldrick's given the ball away, and Russell Martin can come forward for Norwich. Out to Holt on the far side. Had to play the ball forward quickly because the pass was slightly behind him and he was under pressure from Maloney, and it's cleared away by the Forest back line. Houlihan on the left-hand side. That's a good ball infield to Sermon. Sermon early towards the edge of the penalty area towards Jackson. Cleared away. McGugan calm and composed in possession. Gives it to Konchesky, and he can clear into the Norwich half. Chested down on the halfway line by Ward. A little flick there by Martin didn't work, but Konchesky finds Boyd, and now it's forward down this left-hand side to Tyson, and a really important challenge by Whitbread to concede the throw-in.
That was a big challenge, wasn't it? Because that was almost Tice clean through. If he gets the first touch there and Whitbread makes that tackle, A, he's got to be thinking about he's the last man, and B, if he doesn't make the tackle, then Tice is through on goal.
Musi towards McGoldrick. He tried to flick it, didn't work, and Andrew Sermon, who's just popped up in a more central position in the last few minutes or so, can get back on the ball again for Norwich and then receive the return ball from Crofts. Sermon running towards the Forest penalty area into Simeon Jackson, who's offside. Jackson scores. Some of the crowd in the stadium don't realise the flag is up, and it was raised very, very quickly by the linesman on the near side.
I mean, there's no real excuse for that, because he can see that Sermon is running on the back four. He's got to look along the line. All that Sermon's got to do then is release it at the right moment. So it's up to Jackson then to look along, stay on side, and he knows that he's going to get in, but he doesn't. Goes offside. He's just fractionally offside there. Got to hold his run.
Not actually sure whether it's Jackson offside or Holt on this near side.
No, Jackson was offside.
Was he?
Yeah, I mean, Holt's not going to be given offside because he's not in.
It looked pretty tight.
He's not in play. I think he is just. I would have said just, looking at the lines. Yeah.
I think if you've got a Norwich City shirt on, you would have been complaining to the referee as a former striker. And I stand by that view, despite the fact that you'll deny it.
And despite the fact you've got glasses on.
Norwich one, Forest one. Houlihan on the left-hand side. He certainly wouldn't have looked offside if I took the glasses off. It's Holt now, midway inside the Forest half, nowhere to go. So he plays it backwards to Fox, and now Elliot Ward inside the centre circle to David Fox again, the former Manchester United youngster. Norwich patiently coming forward. Elliot Ward carries it into Forest territory, finds Sermon. Sermon through towards Jackson. That's a good tackle inside the penalty area by Chambers, and Jackson had caught Luke Chambers in the process. That's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. It's interesting, this run that Forest have been on, because they've had an opportunity to really make an impact on the automatic places, but before that win against Burnley in midweek, they lost against Swansea, Leeds and Reading. And they've got a problem here, Steve, because Chris Boyd's gone down inside the centre circle.
And it looks like it's going to be two guys going to come on, because he's just gone and sat down, and that means that he's obviously in big problems.
It's a strange setup, at Forest, because you look at their goal-scoring record, and only Hull City in the top 10 have scored fewer goals. And Billy Davies seems to me to be from the Neil Warnock school, that you can't have too many strikers.
No, it's very, very strange. It doesn't always work, though, does it?
He's got 3 on the bench tonight, as well as the 3 that are on the field. But goal scoring has been a problem for them all season.
I think, to be fair, he's been whether he's been struggling to get the right partnership, or whether they've been struggling to get the right partnership, I'm not sure. But I know, as a forward all my life, that one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to play every week, and B, I wanted to know who I was playing with, so that I could work up some relationship as to who was going to run where. And it's very, very difficult if you're going to be constantly chopped and changed around. But that's the way that Billy's done it. And if you join Nottingham Forest, that's the way that you will expect to be managed. So you can't complain, if you don't play, if you feel like you're not playing in enough games.
I think obviously the extended absence of Dexter Blackstock, the top scorer from last season, has also been a problem for them. Chris Boyd is back on his feet, limping off towards the near side touchline, as Forest are preparing to send on Marcus Tudgay, the player they signed from Sheffield Wednesday in January. While all that's happening, we can go to the Engage Super League tonight, Leeds and Huddersfield. David Oates.
Well, the match of the night has seen its first score, Darren. It's Leeds 0, Huddersfield, who are second place at the moment, 6. It was a simple try from Dale Ferguson, who went straight through from dummy half with a Leeds defence asleep. Danny Brough has goal. It's Leeds 0, Huddersfield 6.
Thanks, David. You can hear that game on 5 Live Sports Extra if you want the rugby league tonight. We've got it covered for you. Updates from David Oates and Dave Woods throughout the night here, and of course from Ed Marriage, who's watching Newcastle Northampton. The rugby union fixture taking place tonight. Chris Boyd's going to give it a go. Marcus Tudgate's put the tracksuit top back on. Boyd seemed to injure his ankle in a challenge inside the Norwich penalty area with Zach Whitbread at the moment. Tudgate's just having a chat with one of the Forest coaches as Norwich come forward with their captain and goal scorer Grant Holt. That's a good ball. Sermon's in. Sermon shoots. Sermon scores. So simple. The Forest defence were asleep. They're appealing for offside. The flag stayed down. Andrew Sermon was deadly from the edge of the penalty area. Norwich City 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, I'm just wondering exactly where people are going now. I think it's Moosey again. I just don't understand how easily that Norwich have got in. Every time they've looked like they've got it, there's no defensive cover whatsoever for Nottingham Forest. Whatever happens, every time a Norwich player gets it, he seems to be able to turn and start picking people out. And that's exactly what Sermon does there. He gets in behind, it's a good little run, and he just lifts the ball over the oncoming player. Moosey, yet again, looks as if he's completely daydreaming. He doesn't pick Sermon up. Sermon drifts in from out wide, takes up a space, and Moosey, far too late, realises that he should have gone with him. And it's a very, very confident lift over the keeper from Sermon and an excellent finish. And all of a sudden, Norwich have turned this around.
Well, Paul Konchesky was arguing with the linesman all the way through that period. He was convinced that the flag should have gone up.
No,
Andrew Sermon didn't wait around, did he, for a second invitation?
Never off, mate. Never off.
The second goal of the season. And Norwich have got their tails up now. They've showed real character in this match because they were a goal down freakishly after 3 minutes, if you're just joining us, when John Ruddy, the goalkeeper's clearance, came back off the calf of Nathan Tyson, spun ridiculously in the air and somehow found its way into the net. Norwich equalised 7 minutes later with a Grant Holt header, and on 37 minutes Andrew Sermon has fired them ahead, and if they do win tonight they'll go above Cardiff City and into second place in the championship table. And it's worth mentioning, Steve, that after tonight they don't play another team in the top half for the rest of the season.
No, you would consider them to have a decent run in, there's no doubt about it. I think what you can say, even when they conceded early, you could see that it didn't really make a lot of difference to their game. They just kept going bang, bang at it. The tempo was there. In fact, they came out of it and raised their game, got back into it, and have just kept going. And that little bit of extra quality there from Sermon has been the difference. But I don't think Norwich are a side that even when they go behind, it makes a huge amount of difference to the belief about them getting back in the game.
Paul Konchesky was booked, by the way, for arguing with the linesman and the referee about the goal that Andrew Sermon scored. So Norwich 2, Forest 1, 5.5 minutes to play in the first half on 5 Live tomorrow. And right over the weekend, we've got a feast of live sport for you on the BBC. Blackpool-Wigan, big game in the Premier League at 3 o'clock with such huge implications at the bottom. And at 5:15, the Manchester Derby, the first FA Cup semi-final. On Sunday, we've got Bolton-Stoke, the next FA Cup semi-final, the other one. And that's after, of course, commentary of the London Marathon that gets underway at 7:45 a.m. Monday night QPR Derby, and then Tuesday Newcastle Manchester United. If there's a big game, you'll hear it on 5 Live from the BBC. Half time, by the way, in the Aviva Premiership rugby match. Ed Marriage.
Yes, and it's Newcastle 6, Northampton 10. A promising start for Newcastle. 2 penalties for Jimmy Gopper, but then Northampton turned the screw. Ben Foden's try converted by Myler, who also kicked a penalty. Newcastle look like they're staying bottom tonight. They trail 6-10.
Tyson crosses into the penalty area. That was an opportunity in there for Moosey again. Tyson had wriggled away from the fullback and drilled it low towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and Norwich, Steve Claridge, had to defend.
Absolutely, there's plenty for both these sides, both teams getting in behind almost at will, plenty of opportunities, plenty still to play for, and this game is far from over.
It's a really good game. Let's get an update on the Super League match tonight. David Oates.
Huddersfield looking good value for second place because they're now 12-0. Just as you left me, Jermaine McGilvray went over in the right-hand corner. Outstanding pass out the back door from Griffin. Ball worked along the line for full-back Grix to feed McGilvray. Rough goal from the touchline. He's about to pop over a penalty. In a moment, it'll be 14-0 to Huddersfield.
Thanks, David. Commentary continues on that one on Sports Extra. The Norwich crowd are enjoying things now. They were a bit shell-shocked after that early goal for Nottingham Forest, but they're bouncing up and down in the stand behind John Ruddy's goal away to our left-hand side. Almost everybody seems to be wearing a canary yellow jersey. Norwich coming forward with Sermon. Into Jackson, back towards Sermon, who couldn't quite wriggle away from Morgan, who tracked him. And Camp is able to pick it up. They look really dangerous, don't they, Norwich, coming forward?
They do. I mean, this is as vulnerable as I've seen Forest look defensively. I mean, they've always been associated with a team that are difficult to play against. It's set up well organised, but time and time again, Norwich in midfield have picked up little pockets of space and been able to pick players out. They've nearly done it again there with Holt.
It's interesting that Billy Davies has opted to change shape tonight for the first time this season. He's playing the diamond, and you said to me before the game starts, it's not an easy system to play if you're not familiar with it. And we are seeing breakdowns.
Well, I'm just surprised that McKenna is not. He seems more preoccupied with Houlihan than giving the protection to the back four. And this is what I'm saying. They're just turning where you'd expect McKenna to be, which is in front of that back four, protecting them like Fox is. Yeah. He's not. He seems to be more preoccupied with sorting out Wes Houlihan, and that's something where that's got to be looked at, because there's a little pocket of space in front of that back four that Norwich are exposing every time.
They do look at the moment like a side not exactly clear on what they should be doing individually out there, and collectively as well, which Norwich are managing to exploit. They've got the 2 goals. They've had other promising situations as well. Free kick floated into the Forest box. What a chance for McGoldrick. It floated centrally into the penalty area over McGoldrick's shoulder from 6 yards out, failed to make any contact, and Ruddy, the goalkeeper, was able to catch it. If he touches that, McGoldrick, it's 2-2.
He's got a touch, but it's nothing on it. You have a look at this and he's got a touch.
There, but
it's a slight touch, but it's not enough. All he's got to do is just hook that one way or the other. If you can see, and he doesn't. As he gets his touch just accelerates the ball into Ruddy's arms. That's all that happens with it.
I suppose you can say it's a difficult skill, isn't it, when the ball goes over your shoulder, but that was an opportunity.
From 6 yards, you've got to score that.
Here's McGugan running forward menacingly. He strikes it. It's the back of Zach Whitbread, who has stood on the edge of the penalty area.
Plenty in the game, though.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a really good match, yeah.
Fantastic game of football.
Maloney. Forward to McGoldrick. Both sides committed to attack, and neither looking particularly solid defensively. Crossed into the Norwich penalty area, headed away by Whitbread and out for a throw-in to Forest, a few yards away from the corner flag on the far side, who started this game so well, and it's ebbed and flowed, hasn't it?
It has. There's no doubt about it. I'm just surprised. As I said, I've seen Forest, and when they've come early on in the season, they go a goal up, and they'd be really, really tough to break down, really, really difficult to beat. But they've been really, really open. It's been far too easy at times. But as you said, Norwich also have looked vulnerable defensively.
Good skill by Tyson. Now he's got the pace to run away from the defender. Crossed in towards Moussi and cleared away by Crofts from the edge of the Norwich City penalty area. Hooked forward by McKenna. And Forrest wanted a free kick. The referee's played the advantage, and not for the first time tonight. We see really poor delivery from Nathan Tyson at the byline. Must be really frustrating having your team, Nathan Tyson, with all that pace. The final ball has let him down so many times tonight, Steve.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's once or twice when they've got in some great positions for us. They have to say another little swift turn. They lets the ball run across him. Rolls Whitbread, gets in behind. As you say, then you've got to slow down. You can't do everything at 100 miles an hour. Slow down. All of a sudden he must be aware that as his first look up is there's only one player in there, okay? I can't just stick the ball into the box because there's only one player. I'll either pick him out or I come out and we start again. But Tyson's just put the ball in the box. It's maybe at times a little lack of responsibility.
4 minutes of stoppage time to play because of the treatment to Lewis McGugan. And it looks as though Chris Boyd is going to have to come off because Marcus Tudgay is ready again. Forest are coming forward though, so they'll have to wait to make the change. And that's played forward by Morgan towards Moussi. Now the referee's not given a free kick, and if that's not a free kick, then it was a dive. But it did look like a foul to me. Headed on by McGoldrick on the edge of the Norwich box and cleared away by Fox. Houlihan brings it forward. He's a real bag of tricks, isn't he? Where's Houlihan?
Yeah. I mean, he's got no pace, but he's got lots and lots of ability. And I was just about to say he's the type of person that you would give the ball to and he'll keep it for you, and he gives it away, so I'll stop saying it.
Back in the team after missing a couple of matches, Houlihan. And now the ball has gone out, and Forest can make this substitution. Marcus Tudgay for Chris Boyd.
The problem is, though, you just... I don't know whether you just get the feeling it's almost like for like. There's not a one designated goal scorer. There's no one with 20 goals, is there? Or no one in really defined form that you say it's going to go. There's 15 goals in him.
He's got Robert Earnshaw on the bench.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Who's the natural finisher.
Yes,
of the
is
subs,
the natural goal scorer.
And also
yes.
he played here, so you'd feel he'd come back with a point to prove possibly. But Tudgate's gone on, as you say, very similar in his traits to Chris
not
Boyd.
A real goal scorer in respect of, since he's been here.
Scored 5 goals for Forest since joining him in January, 9 on the season, the former Sheffield Wednesday man. Simeon Jackson's gone down under Wes Morgan's challenge.
The trouble is the way that, that if you do change things around, then nobody really is going to get you 15, 20 goals, are they? So it's that's the difficult equation.
McGoldrick in possession inside the centre circle for Nottingham Forest. Out to the far side to the Frenchman Moussi. Overlapping is Maloney. Played back instead to David McGoldrick and then to McKenna. McKenna tried to play it first time towards Konchesky, but it was a poor ball by the Forest captain. Martin brings it away to Houlihan. And then back to Elliott Ward, who puts a boot through it and clears it into the Forest half. Morgan's let it bounce. He's under pressure now from Jackson. It's a bobbly, bouncy ball back to Lee Camp, who was able to clear at the expense of a throw-in to Norwich on the right-hand side. They don't like those, do they, goalkeepers?
No. That was, you could see how, as that ball's coming to him, he's having to really, really concentrate.
We were looking straight at him.
Yeah, on some sort of contact.
Yeah, his eyes were getting wider the nearer the ball got to him. But he did manage to clear it, Lee Camp, who is one of the better goalkeepers with the ball at his feet.
He is.
In the Championship.
Fantastic keeper all round, there's no doubt about that.
Recently made his international debut for Northern Ireland. Ruddy clears the ball for Norwich into the Forest half. Morgan wrestling with Holt. Morgan got his head to the ball. Maloney then plays it forward to McKenna, who in turn plays it out towards this left-hand side in Lewis McGugan. Down the line towards Tyson. Sliding in is Russell Martin for Norwich. And that's a throw to Forest midway inside the Norwich half.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Norwich, as I said, will want to win this game probably more than Forest. Forest will want certainly not to get beaten. Norwich have got to win this game because they've got to get back into that second automatic. If they don't, they're going to get a playoff spot. So important. So there's plenty in this game. Norwich will want to win it. And Forest, if you said, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a draw before the start of the game, they'd have probably taken it. So, they're still very much where they want to be.
I think 6 points make Norwich mathematically certain of a playoff place. So they take a huge chunk out of that. If they can win tonight, they lead 2-1. Konchesky's cross into the penalty area, deflected up into the air, headed on by Tyson, picked up by Moussi on the right-hand side, faced by the defender Tierney, drills in the cross, and after a deflection off the Norwich left back, it's behind for a corner to Forest.
They're not a massive side, Forest, are they? That's the one thing you can say. That's where they really struggle to handle Norwich. Is that the big lads from Norwich, when they've gone forward, they've really struggled to handle them. But I'm looking at now and I'm thinking, who's a real outstanding dominating character for Forest with regard to attacking the ball? And there probably isn't one.
Corner taken short by Konchesky, deep in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Konchesky then whips in the cross from the left. It's flicked away from the edge of the 6-yard box by Ward. Kept in play right down below us by Moussi, and then he lets it roll out of play for a throw-in, which he's now taking quite a while to take. And that means the referee will blow the half-time whistle. And it really was a fantastic 45 minutes of Championship football. The freakish early goal after 3 minutes from Nathan Tyson got Forest off to the perfect start, but Grant Holt and Andrew Sermon mean that Norwich City lead 2-1 at half-time, Steve Claridge.
Yeah, I think it's a good game when both sets of supporters clap the teams off the pitch, and sometimes the quality of the football transcends the result. So we've got a fantastic spectacle. That journey, although it was long and arduous, has been well worth it so far.
Two former teammates, Luke Chambers and Grant Holt, having a word with each other as they leave the pitch. That's been a heavyweight battle between those two in the first half. Really good game. Half-time here. Norwich 2, Forest 1.
A brilliant 45 minutes of football, dampened only by Darren Fletcher's continuing complaining. You'll remember in Serbia it was a window. Tonight it's a chair. You're turning into a certain other commentator I could mention. Come on.
Hey, can I mention something to you? It's totally off the beaten track, but you'll like this. While we were waiting for the game to start, it flashed up on the screen that Adrian Gonzalez of the Boston Red Sox had signed a 4-year contract in baseball for $154 million. Steve and I got the phones out with a calculator on, and we were both astonished to realise that's £800,000 a week.
minutes.
We couldn't believe it, could we?
Not enough. Not enough.
You did actually say you were worth that as well. No, you weren't. You want it.
Well, listen, you go and complain about your chairs for 15 minutes. We'll be back to you shortly.
I can't get off it.
It's you should be paying to be on it if it's like a waltzer. It's 2-1 to Norwich then at half-time at Carrow Road. We're going to take you around all the sport that's happening tonight. This is kicking off on BBC Radio 5 Live. Once this game's over, by the way, we'll give you a little preview of the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend as well in 5 Live Formula 1. Let's get the news with Claire.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
NATO's Secretary-General Anders Fogh Rasmussen has denied the organisation is going beyond its UN mandate to protect civilians in Libya. Foreign ministers have been meeting in Berlin to discuss the situation. Earlier, British, French and US leaders jointly pledged to continue the operation until Colonel Gaddafi is removed from power. Here's President Obama.
He's running out of money. He is running out of supplies. The noose is tightening, and he is becoming more and more isolated. And my expectation is that if we continue to apply that pressure and continue to protect civilians, which NATO is doing very capably, then I think over the long term, Gaddafi will go.
Meanwhile, 5 MPs are asking for Parliament to be recalled to discuss the UK's mission in Libya, as they believe it's changed to one of regime toppling. The owners of the News of the World have offered Sienna Miller £100,000 over claims she had her phone hacked. She's one of at least 4 celebrities who are bringing test cases against News International. The family of an 11-year-old girl left brain damaged are seeking legal compensation from Great Ormond Street Hospital. They claim staff there accidentally injected Meisha Najib's brain with glue after a mix-up of syringes. The hospital has apologised. There are reports security forces have used tear gas on tens of thousands of demonstrators trying to march on the centre of the Syrian capital Damascus. They're demanding political reform and an end to emergency laws. And a protest is taking place outside the John Snow pub in central London, where a gay couple say they were thrown out for kissing in public. Police are investigating the claims.
Get the trouble.
Yes, here it is. M18 northbound in South Yorkshire. A lane is closed on the exit slip road due to an accident at junction 3. That's the turn for St Catherine's. M25 anti-clockwise in Surrey. Very slow traffic due to an earlier accident. 3 vehicles involved there between junction 10, that's the Wisley interchange, and junction 9 for Leatherhead. Congestion back to the Heathrow Terminal 4 turn-off. M6 northbound in Cheshire, 2 lanes closed, queuing traffic due to a broken down vehicle between junction 16 and 17. And M1 still closed in both directions due to serious fire at the scrap metal yard next to the motorway. That's between junction 4 for the A41 and junction 1 for the A406 North Circular Road.
Lovely, thank you very much. That was Claire with your news and travel. Let me give you all your sports headlines and updates. Carlo Ancelotti has admitted today he doesn't know if he'll be in charge of Chelsea next season. If the club decide to change the manager this summer, he has said, "This is not a problem for me." In League 2 tonight, it's Southend 2, Bradford 0 at half-time. At half-time in Rugby Union's Premiership, it's Northampton 6, Newcastle 10. What a half-time score that is. The bottom club doing everything we said they wouldn't so far. In the Celtic League, 3rd place Ospreys are at Newport Gwent Dragons. Ospreys trail 32-28 already, and it's Edinburgh 24. Bottom side, Eroni, probably pronounced wrong, 8. And Connacht lead Cardiff Blues at 12 points to 10. In Rugby League's Super League, Huddersfield are at Leeds, as is David Oates.
And they haven't won here, Colin, for 50 years.
50 and a half.
50 and a half, but they're winning by 20 points to 0 now as we close in on half-time. They've scored 3 tries, a couple of fairly simple ones from Dale Ferguson, and sandwiched in the middle a really good one from Jermaine McGilvray after an outstanding pass from Darryl Griffin. They've all been converted by Danny Brough. He's also kicked a penalty, so 20-0 here. Huddersfield lead at Headingley against Leeds. This match is on Sports Extra, and the other scores tonight: Hull KR 6, Wigan 16, Quins 10, Castleford 24, Saints 18, Wakefield 0, and Warrington 24, Crusaders 6. But just to reiterate the scoreline here, Leeds Rhinos 0, the Huddersfield Giants 20.
You have to set 3 times to believe it. It's the night of the unexpected in 5 Live Sport, and we've got a gold in the dive, and Vassos Alexander, is it British?
Yes, it is. Tom Daly and Peter Waterfield have just really announced themselves on the world stage as a team to be reckoned with. They have won the World Series in Sheffield. They nailed their most difficult dives, notably a forward dive with 4.5 high-speed somersaults and a nice quiet landing exactly in sync. The Chinese made a big mistake with their hardest dive, big splash. So the big news from Sheffield, it is gold for Tom Daley and Pete Waterfield.
Thank you very much, Vassos. Andy Murray faces Rafa Nadal in the semi-final of the Monte Carlo Masters tomorrow after a straight sets win over Federico Gil earlier today. After 16 months out, injured, England bowler Graham Onions took 5 for 53 as Durham took control against Yorkshire in the County Championship. Very special marathon guest for you in just a couple of seconds. Sold millions of records. We'll speak to two of editors in just 3-4 minutes from now. But first of all, the World Snooker Championships rolls into Sheffield's Crucible Theatre of Dreams once more. It gets underway tomorrow, and the legend that is Steve Davis told me a bit earlier that he expects it to be a wide open championship.
The general standard of play seems to be getting higher and higher, and so we now reach 2011 World Championship, and whilst I suppose you could argue that not every one of the 32 players left has an equal chance, it's never going to be any surprises when a big name gets knocked out because the other players are decent.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the Grand National of snooker, that's for sure. But there's probably at least 8 who would go into this tournament feeling that they have a real, genuine chance of becoming world champion.
Yeah, I think so, and not just that. There's other players who know full well that those 8 are still vulnerable, and should they get a bit of a sort of roll on, that there's, that they're in a situation where they can win as well. And they've seen Graham Dott, who wasn't necessarily one of the favourites, and they've seen other players in the past who weren't in the betting lineup come through. So I think more than 8 fancy their chances.
On that subject, Neil Robertson will try and defend his title. I didn't believe this until my producer told me, but no one ever has defended their first time title. I mean, can you take me back to what it was like after winning your first and going in? Is it more pressure? Are you a bit too laid back?
No, it's more pressure. It depends on the situation you find yourself in for the whole season. I seem to remember when I'd had a sort of pretty decent season most of the season, and all eyes and expectations on me just repeating it again. But then as it comes closer to the event, all of a sudden you do feel the heat of expectation, and this sort of this sword hanging over you, the fact that nobody's ever done it successfully first time round, is the weight of that. Even getting through the first round can become difficult, and Neil Robertson's got a very tricky first round opponent in the fast-rising young whippersnapper Judd Trump. So from that perspective, a tough first-round match for Neil Robertson, but he seems to have strength of character here at the Crucible, but anything's possible. We should probably tell people about Judd Trump. He's been here before, but not necessarily known widely outside of snooker. He's from Brighton, isn't he? And he's got, put it this way, he's the opposite of Willie Thorne. He's got a lot of hair. He's from Bristol, actually, close enough. And he perhaps unless he's moved to Brighton, but he's sort of was winning junior events and winning on the amateur scene at one of the youngest ever ages, and he really is somebody to look for to the future. I think the big question would be, as Judd Trump comes through the ranks, and they're predicting that he's going to be a world champion in the same way as they've been predicting Ding Junhui is going to be a world champion. The big question would be, is Judd Trump going to lift the title before a Chinese player? Because you never know the order of how it's converted. Listen, we can't go without mentioning Ronnie O'Sullivan. I mean, he was in, then he was out, then he's in again. Can you explain that story for me, or is it just typical Ronnie? Well, I don't know the whole story. I think Ronnie has many sort of issues with his own enjoyment of the game at the moment, and perhaps in some ways he's trying to gee himself up. Perhaps that was part of it, sort of threatening to pull out, then perhaps playing, and so I think from Ronnie's perspective, sometimes he needs centre of attention around him. That seems to sort of come over a bit. The biggest problem for Ronnie O'Sullivan seems to be one, though, of enjoyment, of actual enthusiasm for competition. And I truly believe that if he's lost the thrill of competition, it's a serious problem so early in a career. And even though he is getting on a bit into his 30s, it still would be early for him to sort of pack it in and jack it in. So perhaps the World Championship this year will actually kickstart his inspiration, because if you're not going to get inspired for the World Championship, you may as well pack your bags. I tell you what, maybe the draw then is kind to him in a subversive type of way. He's got Dominic Dale in the first round, but he's going to have to go through Sean Murphy and John Higgins before he even gets to the semis, so it will be a competitive part of the draw. Yes, and the question will be, and it's a question Ronnie O'Sullivan probably has to ask himself. Has Ronnie O'Sullivan got the stomach for competition? And if he doesn't want the challenge, then that's the problem. If he has got the stomach for the challenge, if he can produce the right temperament to deal with a 2-week event, then you've got a favourite on your hands. But if he hasn't, then he's vulnerable to anybody.
Just finally, Steve, before I let you go, it's this very special anniversary this year of something that, of course, has loomed large over snooker for a quarter of a century now.
Yes, it is. Of course, last year was the 25th anniversary of Dennis Taylor knocking the black ball in against me, and you did that fantastic programme, which you thoroughly enjoyed, even though I was on the receiving end.
You did well out of it, I think.
But yes, but of course, as a result of that thing that happened there with that black ball, something else happened, because the following year, Snooker Loopy was written by Chaz and Dave and reached number 6 in the charts. And so this is the 25th anniversary coming up of Snooker Loopy, and that is obviously more important possibly than the 85 final. Chaz and Dave and the Matchroom Mob, and I was lucky enough to go along and do an interview with them, so we were going to show that during the there's Chaz and Dave's farewell tour at the moment going on, and I was fortunate enough to meet the lads, and it was great listening to their take on it. It was really good, so we're going to show that later on in the week.
Steve Davis on important matters on and off the bays. The World Snooker Championships gets underway in the BBC TV, radio and online this weekend. We also, of course, will be talking a lot about the London Marathon, which you can watch and listen to. If you want to leave a message of support to anyone who's running the London Marathon, you can call our message line on 03700 100 500. Leave your own name, the name of the person running and who they're running for. Well, we can't guarantee we can play every message recorded, of course, but we'll try and play as many as possible. It's 03700 100 500. 2 people I won't be leaving a message of support for because they're mental for doing this. From editors Tom Smith and Russell Leach join us now. How you doing?
Hello, very well.
Right. Don't take this, don't be offended by this, right? But if I did a list of bands who I think would be physically equipped to run the marathon, editors wouldn't be at the top of that list, Tom. I don't see you as marathon runners as such. Who came up with this idea? Was it you, Tom, or you, Russell?
Russ, I don't know, mate. Was it you? It was Tom initially. I think Tom had the spur to go, I want to do this, and then I thought, I'm going to have a go as well then. We've been running for about 3 years, so...
you were going to do the New York Marathon last year, weren't you? But
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that one, but London, here we go.
It's interesting because it sometimes worries me, although it depends, when bands are up to all sorts of illegal things, it can either ruin them or it can make them make great music. So, for example, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, when they got clean, the albums went downhill. Primal Scream, when they stayed off the drugs, they made better albums. So I'm just worried where you sit here, will running make you a better band or a worse band? Are you going to start writing songs about sort of the meaning of life and all of that and sort of, charity records and stuff?
We've never really been a smackhead band, so I don't think we're not going to, we haven't got the other end of the extreme to bounce back from, have we? So.
You've always been pretty level-headed. Tom, have you been taking this very seriously, and have you been doing sort of 5-10k a day?
No, not a day. It's quite hard to balance the longer runs with just not injuring yourself. That's been the hardest thing, like increasing the level that you go out at and not feeling like you're doing yourself damage. I don't think humans are supposed to be able to run this far regularly, so I've been doing a fair bit, but not too much.
Russell, will it be competitive between the members of editors in terms of who's going to finish first?
No, not at all. It's all about completion.
You say that now. If you turn into that last 300 yards, right, and you see the back of Smith ahead of you, are you telling me you're not going to sprint, Russ?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, there's always competition, isn't there?
He'll pick me up and carry me over the line like Sam and Frodo.
Yeah. You are running for Oxfam. I don't think there'll be much charity involved if you cross sort of around the same time. Are you going to get dressed up, Tom? Are you going as one maybe huge donkey, or are you just going in normal running gear?
Normal running gear, I'm afraid. I know that's unimaginative, but no, not one to dress up, really.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much. Best of luck to you. My money's on Russell to finish first, no offence.
None taken, mate.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Cheers, Colin, mate.
Cheers. Tom and Russ from the lovely editors running the London Marathon tomorrow. Let's just pop the Ed marriage and find out more about Newcastle Northampton. I mean, Newcastle were leading against all odds. Still the same, Ed?
They were right at the start of the match, but at half-time they were trailing 6-10 to Northampton. Since then, a penalty for Newcastle by Jimmy Gopeth to close the gap, and then a second Northampton try, scored by Bruce Rehana. Myler has missed the conversion, but Northampton turning the screw. Newcastle 9, Northampton 15.
OK, thank you very much to Ed Marriage. Let's get back to Carrow Road. We're just kicking off the second half. It's Norwich against Nottingham Forest. So important. It's 2-1 to Norwich as we get back to Darren Fletcher, Steve Claridge, and on the musical theme, Ian Bryan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Colin. It's a throw straight away for Forest. We're just a few seconds into the second half. It's 2-1 to Norwich, as Colin was saying. I wish they'd mixed up the paychecks for me and the other Ian Brown a couple of times. That would have been quite good.
I'm trying to think what you had in common with him. What you'd have in common with him, actually.
Same name, I think. That might be where it stops.
Yes, I was going to say.
Here's Grant Holt. Touches it back to Houlihan for Norwich, playing in the second half from right to left, leading 2-1. Houlihan has it again. The obvious ball is square to his captain, Grant Holt, the man who scored the equalising goal, into Sermon, and he fires wide under pressure from Morgan. Neat build-up right at the start of the second half from Norwich.
Yeah, it was. So, I mean, we've seen that the other way around this time. Sermon's the one who just lets the ball roll past him. He rolls his defender and then gets his strike. Unluckily for him, Moosey's able to put him back under that sort of pressure, close him down and doesn't allow him a free shot. But we've seen that lots and lots of times where players have been very, very intelligent in the way that they've rolled their markers, either with their body or the ball. We saw it again there with Sermon.
Well, I've booked a few hotels and said my name is Ian Brown, and they go, the Ian Brown. I say, yeah, of course. There is only one. The ball is cleared away up to the halfway line by Forest goalkeeper Camp. Sermon comes in with a challenge, and the ball just balloons out to the far side and out for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. Well, sometimes when the result is so important, quality takes a back seat, but that hasn't been the situation here. It's been a high calibre game so far. More of the same will do nicely for the neutrals. Those who are not neutral are very tense, I'm sure. Here on the near side is Maloney for Nottingham Forest. The right back drills in across. That's blocked by Tierney, and it's out for a throw in a couple of yards away from the corner flag on this near side. Forest in the red and white took the lead very early on. 3rd minute. Freaky goal really for Nathan Tyson. And then the equaliser from Holt for 1-1, and Sermon making it 2-1 to the home team after 37 minutes. The ball is flung across the Norwich penalty area. McGugan, who I think was the star performer in the first half, has it for Forest, and Konchesky deep into the penalty area, too deep and too close to the goalkeeper, John Ruddy, who clutches it.
I'll tell you where they do miss out slightly, Forest. How many times have we seen the ball played cross to the far post and nobody coming in at the back post? Because they play that narrow sort of diamond, there isn't anybody who really gets round the back and makes that sweeping arcing run around the back to shut the ball and shut the far post down when the ball comes over. And lots of times already now we've seen the ball played to the far post and absolutely no one there because it bypasses everyone.
Yeah, Nathan Tyson's done well to find the empty space beyond the far post a few times. Here at the other end it's Simeon Jackson for Norwich, drills it against the legs of the goalkeeper. Decent stop low down by Camp, and Norwich are repelled for the time being, but they lead 2-1 here in this N-Powered Championship game on 5 Live. It's Holt now, lovely ball into the penalty area. Sermon, wide position though, tight to the dead ball line, picks a pass back to Holt, who drills it in, right-footed, outside of the foot and well over the bar.
He's almost invisible, Sermon, and every time he makes a run, nobody actually picks him up, and then everyone's reactive. They're not proactive. Nobody actually goes to close him down. Yeah, again there it's a simple run. Doesn't have to do an awful lot, and yet he finds himself in so much space there. And just before that, we saw a good save from Lee Camp. He'd be disappointed if he got done at the near post, I must admit. But we do see that, and we see that very often. That happens, but not to him.
Well, Forest certainly didn't see Sermon when he scored the goal that made it 2-1. Forest about to make another change. They've already, of course, been forced to make one substitution, with Boyd being injured just before half-time, and he was replaced by Tudgate, and Chris Gunter, the Welsh international it is, who's going to come on shortly. Normally a right back.
I'm not sure he'll play right back. I don't know whether he might take Moosey off just to stop Sermon from playing there, because Moosey's at times has just been ball watching completely and let him run off him.
Well, Maloney's done well at right back. Here's McGugan charging forward again for Forest to McGoldrick just outside the penalty area. He lashes a shot wide. Looked good, but it was well wide. Plenty of force behind it.
Well, what he's done is he's let the ball roll across him and then he's gone to smack it back across goal, but it's just too much elevation on the shot and it drags it wide. I think I might have called this one right, haven't I?
Well, we'll mark down the date, April the 15th.
Oh, come on, Ian. Goodness sake. Everybody's laughing. That's not true, you know that. I'm sure I've got something right. Surely. 15 years of commentary. Sure, I must have got something right before.
You were spot on here, that's all I'll say.
Thank you very much.
Moosey's gone off, Gunter has gone on, and Gunter is going to play in midfield in place of the Frenchman, who had a disappointing night. He was he culpable on both goals?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, he's ball watching on the second one, and he's been out muscled by Holt on the first. So I think Gunter is just there. I mean, Sermon's found himself in, as I said, so much space. Just cute little runs, and Gunter will be in a position where I think he'll do more of a defensive job on him.
Whitbread clears long for Norwich towards Jackson, who's beaten in the air. It alights though on the halfway line for Crofts to play it forward for Norwich. Again he's involved with a header out to the near side. Jackson, the Canadian international, has it. Forced to Houlihan, and Houlihan's pass for Tierney is overhit by a mile and straight out for a Nottingham Forest throw-in down beneath us.
Jackson's looks alright. Look, considering he hasn't played that many games, he's come in. I think he's really, really lively. It's a potent mix. You've got a big man, who's a good target man. You've got someone who's prepared to run off him, who's clever, intelligent and quick in Jackson, and they've been a thorn in the Forest side all night, those two.
Well, he had the ball in the net in the first half, Jackson, and the Norwich fans at half-time very aggrieved that the goal wasn't given. It was a very tight offside decision.
Just off,
and the goal was just on when Sermon scored. So I think the linesman might be able to say that he got them both right, but they were both very close. 2-1 Norwich lead. Here's Crofts bursting from midfield. Back to Houlihan, level with the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Dabbed in towards Sermon, but he's overrun it under pressure, and McGugan brings it away to Maloney. Maloney gets it back. Lanky right back up over the halfway line. The young Irishman for Nottingham Forest pokes it infield to McGugan. McGugan looks up, has good options, plays it to McGoldrick. McGoldrick out wide to the far side. Chance for Konchesky to drill one in. It takes a deflection. Could have been awkward for the goalkeeper, but Ruddy takes a step back and claims it under the bar. Still 2-1 Norwich.
Nice, plenty. There's plenty of. I said plenty in this for both sides. There's loads and loads of space, and there shouldn't be in the central areas, particularly just in front of either back four. Just saw it there. Now McGugan's picked the ball up. He's played it to McGoldrick, who's turned. He's able to pick the pass out to Konchesky when he could have driven into the heart of that Norwich defence. And there's lots and lots of space.
Do you think the two Scotsmen, Billy Davis and Paul Lambert, want it to be this open a game? Maybe if you're Forest, because they're having to chase it. Houlihan forward to Holt, wide position on the right. In comes across. Jackson rises, heads it down, no power on it, and it bounces through to the goalkeeper camp.
Yeah, great play again. Fantastic quality on most of the play from both sides there. That's the difference between when Tyson got in that position and when Holt got in that position. There was only one player he could pick out, Simeon Jackson. He looks up and he picks him out because he steadies himself. Whereas Tyson's got in those positions and he's just carried on doing it at 100 mile an hour, slung it in the box with no real rhyme or reason.
Well, McGugan spreads the ball out to Maloney down the near side. Maloney forward for Forest. It takes a deflection off Tierney. It's going to be a corner for Nottingham Forest. And there are definitely more goals in this one, Steve Claridge.
I'm just looking and thinking, it's been such a good game. Trying to wonder whether or not I've seen a game with this sort of quality and this sort of tempo this season in this division. It's been brilliant. It's been fantastic stuff.
It's a corner.
I certainly didn't see that at Portsmouth Coventry Tuesday night, I know that.
Corner for Forest. Whipped into the near post. It bounces across the penalty area before Ward clears with a stooping header. Still not properly away though, and McKenna finds Tyson wide on the edge of the area. Again into the penalty area. Diving header away by Whitbread. Good contact from the American international. And the referee spotted a foul in there anyway, and it's going to be a free kick for Norwich, who still lead by 2-1. And we've already played 9 minutes in the second half, and like the first half, it's going by very quickly because it's richly entertaining.
It is. Like you say, you always know when it's a good game, when it's easy to commentate. Okay, you know, probably not doing a very good job, but let's be honest, it's a fantastic game of football, and I think, to be fair, you're upbeat from just watching the game because it's, as you say, it's so enjoyable. Sometimes you sit there and you think, good grief, this one's dragging, but you just want more of this one.
And such an important game too. Norwich starting in third, just a point behind Cardiff in second. It seems as though Queen's Park Rangers are away at the top, and they could be promoted on Monday when they play Derby, depending on the scores before then. A Norwich victory here wouldn't help that particular cause. Cardiff at home to Portsmouth tomorrow, as Ruddy, the goalkeeper for Norwich, just steps away from Tyson. And this time he wasn't close down, and the ball didn't end up in the back of the net.
Yeah, when you consider what he did in the first 5 minutes, that was a bit of a risky call, that one, to try and do that one again.
Remember, in the third minute, the clearance from the goalkeeper was charged down by Tyson and veered into the net from a ridiculous angle, really. The kind of goal that would never happen again, probably. Now we have a corner, I think, for Norwich. And the match is certainly switching rapidly from end to end. Both team chances, apart from the goals. Moussi hit the post for Nottingham Forest. McGoldrick missed from post range. Norwich have had one disallowed. Norwich leading though by 2-1 and attacking with this corner. In from Sermon, goes a long way. Volleyed away by Morgan on his own 6-yard line for Nottingham Forest. It bounces all the way up to the halfway line. Houlihan is tracing his steps back there for Norwich and plays the easy ball, which is all the way back to his goalkeeper, all in green. Ruddy. This time nobody is charging towards him, so he slips a short pass to his fullback Martin, and Martin gives it back to Ruddy. Well, Norwich are leading 2-1, aiming to return to the Premier League after a 6-year absence. Norwich, promoted last season, of course, from League One under Paul Lambert. Extraordinary job he's done. And of course, the first match of last season, Norwich were losing 7-1 at home against Colchester. Who'd have thought that within 18-19 months they'd be challenging for the Premier League.
He was manager at Colchester, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, he was manager of Colchester when they beat Norwich 7-1, and that might be one of the reasons why Norwich went for him, and it's replacing Brian Gunn, of course.
What you've got to say, I mean, normally, I mean, we've of course there's plenty of games that we've seen with had elements of quality in them, like we are tonight, but not at the tempo we're seeing. You know, it's always easier to play at a slower pace, to play decent balls, to knock the ball around. But when you're playing at this sort of pace, this sort of tempo, then the difficulty level goes up.
That's Steve Claridge with us on 5 Live. Still Norwich 2, Nottingham Forest 1. The first live sport of this bumper weekend that we have for you on BBC Radio. The FA Cup semi-finals, Premier League action, Chinese Grand Prix, London Marathon. We've got it all covered for you. And here is Whitbread at the back for Norwich City. Is this the first lull in the game? Surely not, Steve. Diagonal ball, hammered out to the far side looking for Holt. Beaten in the air by Konchesky. McKenna casually back to Morgan, who clears. But Norwich have it back just beyond the halfway line. With Crofts infield to Houlihan. And Holt back to Andrew Crofts, who scored some crucial goals this season for Norwich, particularly in away games. They lose their momentum here, but Houlihan wins it back well, and now it's Martin, the fullback. It's back with Houlihan. Sends the ball cross field, opens up a bit of space for Tierney, who has to control a bouncing ball, and finds Whitbread, and now chip forward. Chasing hard is Sermon. He's allowed to get to the ball first there by Nottingham Forest. A bit slack. Forced away from goal by Gunter. Into Crofts. Crofts out to Tierney. Nice build-up play now by Norwich, leading by 2-1. Chipped into the box looking for Jackson, but cleared away by Chambers for Nottingham Forest. Forest starting down in 7th place, just a point outside the playoffs. They need a point to manoeuvre above Leeds, but they trail 2-1. At the moment, Norwich are heading back into 2nd place, and just 4 matches left for both these clubs after tonight's game. What did you make of my forecast earlier, Steve? I've gone through every single game remaining for the contenders to finish second behind Queen's Park Rangers. and I came up with Reading being promoted.
Yeah, you did. I think you're being a little bit hard on Cardiff there.
Who are you going for then?
I'm going to go for Cardiff. I've got to say, I think they'll win tomorrow, and they've got a reasonable run in. There's no doubt about it.
I think the toughest game remaining for Reading is potentially tomorrow's home game against Leicester, even though they do have to go to Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that they might get beaten by Leicester and Cardiff beat Pompey, and then all of a sudden there's a 6-point gap, is it? So
I'll have to revisit my maths if that happens. 59 minutes played here, Norwich 2, Nottingham Forest 1, and we're going to see a change here. Paul Lambert is making the change, and Henry Lansbury, the midfielder on loan from Arsenal for Norwich, is going to come on in place of David Fox, who perhaps hasn't had one of his most effective games. That's the change being made. Applause from all around Carrow Road. A virtual capacity just short of 27,000 in here for this championship match, and Fox is replaced by Lansbury. Number 12 he is.
Yeah, might be thinking he's a bit unlucky not to be playing more regularly, Lansbury. I think he's been last 3 or 4 games he's been very much on the bench, and there's no doubt he's played a huge part in their success so far this season.
Unusual to see a substitute wearing number 12 these days. Hit long for Jackson to chase against Morgan. Morgan is pretty beefy, and he rose as much as he needed to get that clear for Nottingham Forest. And now it's Chambers with a dangerous ball across his own half, but Maloney's done well to feed McKenna, and on it goes to Gunter. Gunter was taken out of it a bit late, but Maloney carries on and finds Tyson on the near side. He was definitely taken out of it there by Whitbread.
Well, that's the difference between Wes Houlihan
free kick
and Tice. Houlihan's not quick, that's why he gets caught, and Tyson is quick, and that's why he was able to miscontrol the ball there and then still get to it just before Whitbread and nick it away from him.
If you could have a little mixture of those two players.
Yes, absolutely, then you've got a heck of a player.
You'd have something going for you. McGugan is over this free kick. 2-1 to Norwich. Forest desperately needing to pick something up from this game. And it's going to be played in by McGugan. Takes a deflection high inside that Norwich penalty area. Several players contesting the ball, away by Whitbread in the end as it bounced around a little bit too freely for Paul Lambert's liking, and finally away to Jackson, whose touch is good inside his own half. To Houlihan, and his touch this time was not quite as good, Steve.
The good and the bad in 30 seconds there. Great first touch under pressure, awful touch under absolutely no pressure second time around.
All of which means that Nottingham Forest have got the ball with a throw in. 17 minutes played in the second half. Maloney feeds it into the penalty area, headed away by Norwich in the yellow, only as far as McKenna. Now Nottingham Forest, a little bit of impetus for them. Konchesky into McKenna again, the pocket-sized captain, across the penalty area, headed away at the far post though by Tierney. And now Norwich can come again. Oh, Houlihan showed too much of the ball there to Maloney, and Maloney's got it back. 1 or 2 errors just creeping in.
Tiredness, isn't it? I mean, it's been played at a
frantic pace,
rate of knots, hasn't it? Just 1 or 2 tired legs out there now.
Well, it was an open game when everybody was fresh. It might get even more exciting with a few tired limbs out there.
Both had midweek games as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Third game in 6 days for Norwich.
Yeah.
Played Saturday, Tuesday, Friday, and next week they're playing Thursday away at Ipswich. Could be tasty. Here's a ball from Konchesky, which is not particularly tasty. It's behind for a goal kick. Let's go to Ed Marriage at the Rugby Union tonight. It's Newcastle against Northampton.
Yeah, and 15 minutes to go, and Newcastle have closed the gap again thanks to Jimmy Gopper's 4th penalty. If the score stayed like this, the losing bonus points for Newcastle would be enough to take them off the bottom of the table. Newcastle 12, Northampton 15.
Thanks, Ed. We'll keep you right up to date with that one here on 5 Live. Here at Carrow Road, it is Norwich 2, Nottingham Forest 1, and Forest have had a breezy couple of minutes, and you can feel a little bit of tension amongst the Norwich City supporters in here. Their team have just slipped up a little bit over the last couple of away games. Here at Carrow Road they have a pretty good record, unbeaten in 2011 at home, but they really do need a strong finish to the season. I went for Reading maybe to finish in the top 2. Steve thinks Cardiff might squeeze in, but here's Jackson for Norwich. But Norwich are going to have a very big say as well, aren't they, surely?
I was going to say 2 weeks ago I was saying that Norwich were strong favourites, and it turned around very quickly. So
home against Derby and home against Coventry, their last 2 home games.
Yeah, take them, wouldn't you?
And apart from the Ipswich away game, it's a trip to Portsmouth.
Yeah, who I saw get beat 3-0 Tuesday. So there's tougher run-ins than that. They'll be reasonably confident in 1 or 2 of those games, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's go to Dave Woods at the Rugby League. Leeds against Huddersfield.
Well, it is still Leeds 0, Huddersfield 20, but it's a fiery game now because we've got a double sending off. Ryan Bailey for starting a fight, Luke O'Donnell of Huddersfield for coming in and joining the fight. So both sides down to 12 men, but Huddersfield still very much on top. Leeds 0, Huddersfield 20.
And you can catch the remainder of that game on 5 Live Sports Extra. Here now coming forward is Martin for Norwich inside the penalty area. The fullback tries to deliver a cross, but he's blocked out of it by Paul Konchesky. We mentioned that Bob Bradley was watching this game, the USA head coach, or was it Bob Bradley? And Stuart Pearce, the England under-21 manager, is here as well.
If I hadn't been here, you wouldn't have righted that, would you? You'd have just left it.
Of course. I knew you were going to step in.
Oh, I was chomping at the bit as well. That's the way to do it.
I caught you out of the corner of my eye, and I thought I'd better put that right. Here now is a ball in for Norwich to Sermon. Sermon to Jackson, trying to turn the defender inside the penalty area, comes off his heel, and Maloney tidies up with a neat ball out for Forest. Still Norwich 2, Forest 1. And the big clock says 65 minutes and 55 seconds played. Norwich 2, Forest 1 it reads in green and yellow. And the ball is with Konchesky on the far side for Forest. Played to the edge of the area. David McGoldrick, who scored those 2 goals midweek against Burnley, forces it back out to Konchesky, level with the Norwich penalty area. Now it's McGugan. I think they need to get McGugan on the ball as often as possible. He had a very good first half in particular. And now a back heel by McGoldrick was not a good option because he's presented it back to Norwich. And now Konchesky tries to win it back but loses out on the halfway line, and it's Jackson far side, but defenders are back for Forest. So it's slowed down by Norwich, which was a good thing to do really. And now Crofts pings the ball out to the near side, and Tierney to Holt. Back to Tierney again. Hammers the ball back to Holt. He did well actually, and he's won a throw for Norwich.
And what we saw there is I think people have now got to maybe just take an extra touch, because looking for a 1-2 there, Tierney just didn't have the legs to go in behind, and Holt then has to have an extra touch and just reassess the situation. When people do start to get tired, they start to not be able to make the runs that they were making first half, that's when you've just got to have an extra touch and just see how the picture develops.
Well, here's McGugan for Forest. He slips over. The pitch is fairly lush. It was watered at half-time. The sprinklers certainly doused 1 or 2 of these substitutes who were warming up at half-time.
Ooh.
Now, cool play, I think, that by Elliot Ward in the end to get it back to his goalkeeper, ducking out of the way of the ball and then feeding it back to the keeper. Halfway through the second half then. Still a very interesting game to say the least. Norwich 2, Nottingham Forest 1, and through to the end with Darren Fletcher.
Thanks, Ian. It's interesting.
So, they've got every right, and I think, like I say, now all of a sudden you'll pick the bones out of probably 1 goal if we get that in the game.
Forest are used to being in tight contests. They've drawn more games in the Championship than anybody else. And I read somewhere, Steve, that 33 of Forest's 41 matches have either been drawn or decided by a single goal. Yeah. Which shows that they are a team that can hang in a match. Also maybe indicates that they're a team this season that find it difficult to nick the game.
To go away from people,
Here's Sermon with the shadow Chris Gunter behind him. Gives it to Tierney on the left touchline, level with the edge of the Forest area. Norwich in yellow and green, playing from right to left in this second half. Sermon again, this time he's tackled by Morgan. Loose ball found by Lansbury, played out towards Houlihan on the left-hand side, and he can't keep it in play. It'll be a throw into the red shirts of Forest by the corner flag right down below us. 2-1 Norwich lead.
There's a spark for us, I mean, it's not down to Norwich to go and, they've got themselves in the winning position. They don't have to do anything in this game other than keep the status as it is, rather than Forest have got to go and get this goal. I'm just looking at it thinking, where can I see them getting a goal from? Where can I see that little bit of inspiration? And I'm looking at, but I can't quite see it just yet.
Maybe it's in the shape of Rob Earnshaw, the former Norwich striker, who's warming up down below us. Yeah,
that would be someone.
Don't think it's going to be too long before we see him, judging by the type of exercises he's doing down there. Norwich in possession, leading 2-1 with 25 minutes played.
You don't do those exercises to do your commentary, do you?
Well, no.
No. So
that would be bizarre. Imagine me standing here swinging the legs around like that.
Only on a Saturday night.
Only at weekends behind closed doors. Let's update the Rugby League. Last time we were there, it's getting a little bit feisty, Dave Woods.
It is, and it's getting even feistier here. 18 minutes of the second half played. Leeds 6, Huddersfield 20. Leeds finally making the breakthrough. Keith Senior's break. Rob Burrow in support to score. Sinfield's kicked the goal. And a very thrilling game elsewhere. Harlequins 26, Castleford 26 is a full-time score.
Thanks, Dave. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Forest have given the ball away. And Andrew Sermon has managed to shake off Chris Gunter for the first time in a while. He's got it down the left-hand side. Flick forward then by Tierney towards Jackson, defended by Chambers. It's a throw-in for Norwich.
That's the one thing that I would criticise Simeon Jackson about. Getting across and being the option when there's space in front of him. He doesn't do that enough, and that's 3 or 4 times second half. We've got a perfect view of that. Plenty of space to come into, and he lets the defender get there instead of him. He should be anticipating that ball into that space more so, getting hold of it and let people play off him.
Tierney on the left-hand side, signed from Colchester in January, only been on the losing side once in a Norwich shirt. This time his cross is dealt with inside the penalty area by Paul Konchesky of Forest. Let's get back to the Rugby Union. Ed Marriage.
Less than 10 minutes to go, and Newcastle currently have the losing bonus point, which would take them off the foot of the table, but they need more than that. They currently trail Northampton 12-15.
18 minutes to go here. Norwich 2, Forest 1. Forest attacking down the left, crossed in by Konchesky towards Gunter. Shot comes in from inside the penalty area by Tyson, and he can't keep it down. He may be snatched at that, Steve Claridge.
Yeah, I think that's half a chance. I mean, it's coming towards him. Oh, it's a little bit bibbly-bobby, maybe a little bit too much more pace than he'd like, but he snatches at it, like you say. He doesn't keep his eye on the ball, doesn't control the strike, wants to smash this ball into the back of the net, and that wasn't the type of ball coming towards you where you can do that with it. It was more of a controlled strike, and he doesn't do that.
Well, the change that we were talking about is going to be made by Forest. They are going to send on Rob Earnshaw, the Welsh international striker. Scored 27 goals in 17 months here as a Norwich City player, and he's going to come on for Nathan Tyson. And you wonder, don't you, if that chance that Tyson's just had would have fallen to Earnshaw, we might have been looking at a different scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably, for me, if I had to put me 5 on someone who I would play up front for me, who would get me a goal out of all the strikers that they've got, it would go on him.
Tyson has scored tonight, although he knew very little about it. Blocking John Ruddy's clearance with his calf, and the spin on the ball took it into the unguarded net. After that, Grant Holt and Andrew Sermon scored for Norwich City. They lead 2-1. We've played 28.5 minutes on 5 Live in the second half. A couple of commentaries for you tomorrow on 5 Live. Blackpool Wigan in the Premier League at 3 o'clock, and then Manchester City against Manchester United in the first FA Cup semi-final. That kicks off at 5:15. On Sunday we've got the London Marathon, the Chinese Grand Prix, and the second FA Cup semi-final between Bolton and Stoke City, and lots and lots of live football next week as well on the home of live sport. 5 Live.
2 great games on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Blackpool Wigan. Marvellous.
Ian Holloway must be sat there tonight thinking, this is a great chance for us tomorrow, because the chances are running out. They probably need 2 wins, don't they, Blackpool? Well, they all do, don't they, down there at the moment?
Might even need more than that, but they could almost put Wigan away, couldn't they, if they beat them, so...
You'll hear it all on 5 Live with John Murray and Craig Burley tomorrow afternoon from Bloomfield Road. It's all about the Championship tonight, as tight as ever. And it's pretty tense inside Carrow Road at the moment, because this game means so much to so many teams. A win for Norwich in their second, a couple of points clear of Cardiff City, a draw for Forest, and they'd be back in the top 6 at the expense of Leeds United. And when you think about some of the games that we've got coming up, a lot of the teams in the top 7 or 8 are all playing each other between now and the end of the season. We've got Leeds against Reading on Good Friday. You'll hear that game on 5 Live. Forest have still got to play Leicester, which might end up being a must-win game for both of them.
We all thought last Saturday was going to sort the men out from the boys, and all it did was muddy the waters even more, didn't it?
Absolutely.
So... That's the sort of weekends we've got ahead, isn't it?
Queen's Park Rangers could be promoted if things go their way on Monday when they play Derby County. You'll hear about that on 5 Live as well. Norwich in possession, but they've started giving the ball away. McKenna out towards Konchesky on the left-hand side. Loves to get forward from left-back, the Liverpool low knee. And this time he shows too much of it to the Norwich defence, and it's cleared away down the right-hand side. But Forest will come again. Lots of possession inside the Norwich half for Forest, but they're not really creating anything.
And that's what I'm trying. It's not really convincing me that they are going to get back into this game. They've just gone in protective mode, Norwich, haven't they? Just gone into, OK, subconsciously we just take a step back to protect what we've got.
Crossed in by Gunter from the right. Off-balance header might fall for McGugan. It's cleared away by Zach Whitbread, but it's a poor clearance, only to Konchesky on the left. And Norwich are going to send on Simon Lappin the next time they get the opportunity. He's a more defensive-minded player. Maybe tells you what Paul Lambert's thinking down there. Konchesky's cross into the penalty area. The target, Tudgay, headed away by Tierney, only as far as Gunter. Now Maloney can come forward from right back. Gets it back to Gunter, who then crosses deep into the Norwich penalty area. Too high for Tudgay. Retrieved left side by Konchesky. Good Forest pressure. Tudgay just outside the penalty area to Konchesky again. He's got time to cross. Low driven in this time and cleared away by Elliott Ward to the halfway line for Norwich City.
What you've got to do now is that is a packed penalty area. It's no good just putting the ball in like Konchesky did there. If it's not going to go in with real quality, with someone you can pick out, then you've got to come out and start again. It's no good now. Quantity's not good enough. It's got to be quality that goes in that box because it's saturated with defenders from Norwich.
Billy Davis will feel, though, that his side are having enough possession now to maybe snatch something from this game.
It's not possession, Daz, is it? It's what you do with it. It's how you use that possession, how much quality you put into that possession. And to be fair, this is probably a period of the game where they've looked least likely to score.
So the change that's going to be made here is Simon Lappin coming on for Wes Houlihan. That's a really defensive change by Paul Lambert.
Yeah, I don't think you can get them out of the, as I say, subconsciously. The psychologists have taken a step back. They're 2-1 up. They don't want to give anything away. They want to keep it tight and they want to keep what they've got.
In for a really good last 12 and a half minutes here. Let's quickly get back to the Rugby League. David Oates.
Well, I think Huddersfield have now wrapped this up because they've scored another try, a simple one to the substitute Sean Lunt. Goal by Brough, 5 from 5 for him, and Huddersfield lead here by 26 points to 6.
And to Ed Marriage at the Rugby Union.
And it's all square here thanks to Jimmy Gopper's 5th penalty, 15 all, and that means 2 valuable points for the Falcons, which will take them off the bottom and put Leeds back deep in trouble. 15 all.
12 minutes to go. Norwich 2, Forest 1. Really good game in the Championship that's become a lot tighter since the substitutions have been made and the legs have got a bit tired. Here's Sermon. We've hardly mentioned him since Gunter came on to do the man marking job on him. Now Lappin gets a first touch, the sub from the left, crossed into the Forest box. Awkward bouncing ball headed away by Morgan and out for a Norwich throw, which is giving their embattled defence a breather at least, because the play has been predominantly inside the Norwich City half and around the penalty area for the last 5 minutes or so.
I think, to be fair, the way that Forest are playing as well, they're not going to get any real natural width apart from the fullbacks. And with the 2 big centre halves like Norwich have got, they'll be more than pleased with, either fullback putting it in from those deep positions, shall we say, and then can come on and head the ball away. And that's basically what's happened at this stage.
Might be some tired legs on the benches too, because Paul Lambert and Billy Davis have sat down for the first time in the game. Lansbury's cross. Now that strikes a Forest body, Paul McKenna, and it's gone behind for a Norwich City corner on the left-hand side.
They'll take the time, they'll kill a couple of extra minutes here. That's what it's all about, keeping the ball now. When you've got it, you make sure you keep it, you keep possession, you don't give it away cheaply and invite pressure, and if Norwich do that, and they'll have some sort of say in this game.
Never an easy lead to defend, is it, 2-1? It's always in the back of your mind how close it is, particularly when 3 points are so important. Crossed in from the left-hand side, poor corner by Lansbury, but an equally poor clearance by McKenna, straight behind again, so Lansbury can get another go at it.
Yeah, it's important the crowd stay with you, though. I mean, they can. The nerves that they show can transpire onto the pitch, and the players can get nervous, so they've got to stay with it.
That's better right through the 6-yard box. Any kind of touch and it would have been a third goal. Grant Holt can't believe he didn't get to that ball. It took a deflection off a Forest player on the way through, and it'll be a third successive corner for Norwich, this time from the right, but that was fantastic delivery by Lansbury.
Great quality, wasn't it? And Elliott Ward at the near post, all sorts of problems. I think it's McKenna actually that might get the touch on it. It is.
That just took it away from Holt, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was the touch that denied Grant Holt a goal. Here comes the corner now from the right-hand side. Whipped in with pace, headed away by McKenna towards the edge of the penalty area where they all jump for the ball. And Grant Holt, the Norwich captain, is the man who comes away with it. Plays it out towards Elliot Ward on the left-hand side. Into the box, that's a decent ball in towards Crofts. With his back to goal at the byline. Played out now to Lappin. Crossed in from the left to Jackson. Heads it wide. 7 yards out. Tried to caress the ball into the corner and ended up sticking it wide of the left-hand post.
Yeah, a real chance there. Out to Lappin. Cross flicks the ball on at the near post. And Jackson does what I've been asking him to do all game. Get across his defender. As you say, then he's just stands there and flicks his head, turns his head. But he can't quite guide it into the corner at the far post.
It was awkward because he just had to lean back, didn't he, and then try and guide the ball into the corner.
It's one of those instinctive ones, isn't it? You don't actually get to see where the goal is, but you have a picture in your mind.
Both teams summoning up one last effort maybe in the game. Forest coming forward now down the right with Maloney. Infield to McGoldrick, crossed into the centre, headed away by Ward. It'll fall for Gunther, who strikes it with power, and that deflected off. I thought a Norwich City head, so did Chris Gunther, but Neil Swarbrick, the referee, and no doubt in his mind it's going to be a goal kick to Norwich. Hit it well though, didn't he, Chris Gunther?
I'll tell you what, it was a fantastic ball in as well from McGoldrick there. I'm just surprised that nobody's really attacked the ball. That's possibly where the difference between Grant Holt when the ball goes in the box and a big man for Nottingham Forest. There's been lots and lots of quality, but
it should have been a corner.
Nobody's got on of it. You could see by the reaction, couldn't you, that player's not going to.
Elliot Ward on the head.
He's not going to complain that vehemently unless it is.
I think he's done well, though, the referee tonight.
Yeah, he's done well.
He's handled an important game really well.
He has.
Morgan's challenge on Holt, the two former teammates. Now, here's McGoldrick to Tudgay, and then Forest will play their passing triangles and get the ball again to Marcus Tudgay, who can play it out to Konchesky on the left-hand side. He's played really high up the pitch in the second half, Konchesky. In towards Earnshaw, couldn't gather it, and then cleared away unceremoniously by Whitbread to the halfway line, where it's won in the air by Morgan. Helped on by McKenna. Picked up now by Brendan Maloney, up towards Tudgay. Flicked on towards Earnshaw, headed away by Whitbread. And then Lansbury, with all of the composure learned on the Arsenal training pitch, just cushions it back to Elliot Ward, who can hoof it forward for Simeon Jackson to chase. And Morgan's made a mistake, given the possession back to Jackson. And then the big Forest defender has muscled over Simeon Jackson, and it's a free kick almost on the touchline for Norwich City. He got himself in a mess, didn't he, Wes Morgan?
Wes, yeah, I mean, he's not what you say, fantastic with the ball at his feet, shall we say, and it was a moment there where I think he probably tried to do a little bit too much. Then he was a little bit more than he was capable of doing there. Go home, play safe. He doesn't, tries to get the ball and turn, and Jackson's fully aware of what he's trying to do, gets in front of him, and he just fails him and just kills a little bit more time for Norwich.
You're not going to confuse him with Frank Rijkaard anytime soon.
No.
Lappin's free kick into the penalty area, away by Chambers, falls for Sermon, makes room for the shot and strikes it. Very important block by Konchesky.
That was lovely play by Sermon. I mean, we all know his strong point is his left foot, but he feints there, drags it on his right foot, gives himself a little bit of space, and then hits the ball. Unfortunately for him, it goes straight at Konchesky and out for a throw-in.
They're a dying breed, aren't they? Players who love to have the ball at their feet and dribble through midfield. We've got two on show tonight, haven't we? Sermon for Norwich and McGugan for Forest. Really enjoyed watching the pair of them.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him at Southampton, actually, and he was a good player then. He had a couple of injuries and sort of his career peaked, and then it troughed a little bit, but he's come here and he looks a perfect player for that sort of left of the diamond, like you say.
Norwich in possession on the far side of the field. They're right. They're playing from right to left in this second half. It's tidied up over there by McGugan, who's flitted in and out of the game. The Forest youngster, still only 22. When he's been on the ball, he's looked a real threat, but they've not really been able to get the ball to him enough in the second period, Forest, in the final third, to be a factor. Norwich attacking down the right with Grant Holt. Chambers with the tackle, and it's out for another throw, this time just about level with the edge of the Forest box. It's taken to Lansbury. Lansbury, though, tackled inside the area by Konchesky, who can clear. It's full time in the rugby. Ed Marriage.
Yeah, and heartbreak for Newcastle. Northampton scoring a try 2 minutes from time through Chris Ashton, of all people. Stephen Myler converted. The losing bonus point means Newcastle go above Leeds at the foot of the table. Northampton go third. Newcastle 15, Northampton 22.
Thanks, Ed. That tight and tense in the Aviva Premiership, and the rugby tonight, tight and tense in the Championship as well on 5 Live. 5 minutes to go. Norwich 2, Forest 1. 3 points massive for either of these sides. At the moment, Norwich City are heading back second in the Championship table. Maloney, 10 yards inside the Norwich half, moves from the right into a central position. Little flick by Tudgay isn't what was required, but then Norwich give it away unnecessarily. Although McGoldrick has lost out to Jackson, and it's cleared away by Tierney. I think we can prepare ourselves for a pretty tense last few minutes of this match, Steve, and Forest have got to try and find a goal from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, considering, as you said, the last half an hour they've had the majority of the play. It's been them that have made most of the running, but not really created a decent chance.
Can't actually recall John Ruddy making a save in the match.
No. 1 or 2 long shots.
Yeah, but nothing of any significance.
No.
Cleared forward by Luke Chambers.
So when you play this system, you lack a little bit of width, and I think that's where they've struggled to break Norwich down, because, as I said, primarily the 2 fullbacks have been the ones that have been crossing the ball, and every time they've crossed the ball, the 2 centre-halves, instead of looking at their own goal, they've been facing away from their own goal, and they come on and they've just cleared the ball with ease. So it is a system where you lack a little bit of width, and I think that's probably where they've suffered a little bit.
Norwich have kept up the routine of averaging 2 goals a game at home. Forest lose tonight, it'll be 1 win in 11 matches, which is put paid to any hopes of automatic promotion and might extinguish hopes of a playoff place as well. Billy Davis has been in the playoffs 4 times, managed to get Derby County promoted. This season looks as though his side might just be running out of gas at the wrong time in the season. Grant Holt, little back heel inside towards Lappin. Firm challenge on him by McKenna, but Norwich have won it back again. Holt to Lansbury, back into Grant Holt, who can seal it here. Great tackle on the edge of the 6-yard box by the youngster Brendan Maloney.
Brilliant tackle, just when we think he's going to fire one off.
Simeon Jackson inside the Forest penalty area, left foot shot by Jackson outside of the post and wide.
I don't know whether Lee Camp, it's just interesting to see whether he got done at the near post here. No, just about got that covered. It is the outside of the post as well, so give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Just been reminded by our hawk-eyed producer Phil that there was the save by Ruddy in the first half from McGoldrick, from the free kick that was floated into the box. Wasn't much of a save though, was it? Didn't really have a lot to do.
Went straight through. I mean, he should have done better there, McGoldrick.
Norwich 2, Forest 1. 2.5 minutes to play plus stoppage time. Forest hit it long, headed away by Zach Whitbread, and then cleared down the line by Lappin. The ball's not gone out of play. Retrieved by Wes Morgan, midway inside his own half. His only option is to go back to his goalkeeper, Lee Camp. The Northern Ireland international clears long, up towards the Forest penalty area. Flicked on by Tudgay above Ward, then steered away on the far side by Russell Martin. Only as far as Paul Konchesky. Forward by Konchesky to Earnshaw. Earnshaw tried to flick it and gives it straight back to Norwich. And then Holt whips it forward and gives Simeon Jackson one to chase. Chambers will allow his goalkeeper to come to the edge of his penalty area and pick it up.
It's been nice and lots of good little play there, but Norwich will think that they're reasonably comfortable in this game. They haven't been opened up. They haven't allowed Nottingham Forest to get in behind them, and so far, when you think about, as I said, they've just taken that little step back for the last 20 minutes in this game. They've still been reasonably comfortable, and they'll be pleased with that, Norwich.
Paul Konchesky for Nottingham Forest. McGoldrick in a bit of space, midway inside the Norwich half, moves out towards the left-hand side and gives it to Gunter. Crossed into the danger area, headed away by Zach Whitbread for Norwich City. Only as far as Paul McKenna, the Forest captain, just outside the box. He crosses. It's flicked on there by a Forest boot. I think it was Earnshaw. Acrobatic effort, and that's got a couple of yards wide of Ruddy's goal.
The type of crosses where, unless you've got a big man who's going to really be competitive in the air, a little bit like Holt, and dominate the opposition, then they're going to be null and void. You're not going to make any headway, and people like Earnshaw certainly not be able to get on in the crosses like that. So I think they just need to get in more advanced areas, and they need to find a way of getting in behind that Norwich defence, because so far every cross that we've seen has meant that Norwich have been able to come on and head the ball away with comfort.
Here's another change for Norwich City, and it's another defender being sent on by Paul Lambert. Rob Edwards, who's on loan from Blackpool, another Welsh international on show. He's coming on for Simeon Jackson, and Paul Lambert now is going to protect what he has, which is this 2-1 lead.
I think we've seen that once or twice, haven't we, with the a couple of substitutions he's made with 20 minutes to go, and that one there, that I think he knows that it's very, very difficult to get your team out of that mode when they've taken that step back and they've decided we're going to protect what we've got. So all you do is you just make sure that you become even tighter and harder to beat.
Playing with 5 at the back, Norwich now, 3 central defenders and a full-back either side, with Lansbury pushed up to help Grant Holt out, headed away by Whitbread, one of the 3 back there. And then McGugan's pass is cleared away by Crofts up towards Holt on the halfway line, who worked really hard to get there in front of Chambers, then tried to buy himself a foul. Play on, says the referee. Chambers floats it into the Norwich penalty area, and it's cleared away by the Norwich defence.
It's a great decision from the ref. I mean, everybody's gone mad on the Norwich bench, but he's bought that.
We could see it from
never ever a free kick there from Holt, and he knows that.
Not seen the signal from the 4th official, Andy Durso, yet as to how long there's going to be. 4 minutes, I'm told. And that's a foul by Konchesky on Sermon. Very, very late. He's got to get a yellow card for that, surely.
That is a booking, yeah.
Well, he was booked in the first half, wasn't he, Konchesky? So it's a second yellow and a red. He was booked for arguing Sermon's goal.
He was.
Now he's followed through with a reckless challenge. It's a second yellow, and Paul Konchesky is sent off in injury time at Carrow Road.
Yeah, I don't think he can have any real complaints. I mean, it's stupid to get booked like he has in the first half, and that's come back to bite him, hasn't it? And that's a booking if ever I've seen one.
Very reckless. And the ball had quite clearly gone. The old phrase is that Konchesky got there as quick as he could. Just didn't quite get there quick enough, did he? Right in front of the Forest fans on the far side. So Konchesky, on loan from Liverpool, troops off. That'll mean that he'll miss Forest's next match, which is the home game against Leicester City
tough one
on Good Friday. So left back's been a problem position all season for Forest.
Nice little local derby there.
Grant Holt's received the free kick and tried to waste some time by the corner flag, but he's lost it. And now McGoldrick will come away with a really powerful run towards the edge of the centre circle. 2 minutes of injury time to play. Norwich 2, Forest 1 on 5 Live. Earnshaw for Forest, turns midway inside the Norwich half, slip for Tudgay, edge of the penalty area, poked in for Chris Gunter. The flag is up. The flag went up really quickly on the near side, and the chance for Chris Gunter denied by a linesman's flag, but it was a really incisive break by Forest.
So it's also a great tackle, isn't it, by Elliot Ward as well. Fantastic tackle, and that's why Roddy's run out, grabbed hold of him and given him a real good pat on the back, because marvellous tackle there just when we thought he was in. That's not off, by the way.
It's not.
Never off in a million years.
He's onside. Bad decision by the linesman. Put the flag up really quickly, but he got that one wrong. Sure that Billy Davis will have something to say about that later on. Never a manager to mince his words, is he, Billy Davis? Minute of injury time to play. Any way back for Nottingham Forest. Norwich City leading 2-1 and heading back second in the Championship.
There's not many left either, is there, actually?
Grant Holt spins away from Chambers on the far side, and just exchanges one or two pleasantries with the Forest supporters who used to cheer his name at the City ground on the far side. Throw into Norwich City. Holt receives it. Chambers over there trying to win it back for the team in red. Lansbury now for Norwich City. Down the line by Martin. Towards Henry Lansbury again by the corner flag. The ball has not gone out of play, and Forest can clear through Brendan Maloney up towards halfway. Powerful header by Ward. Back into the Forest half. Lansbury is just, cleaned out from behind is the only way you can describe it, by McGoldrick. That was a reckless challenge on the Arsenal youngster, and he gave Neil Swarbrick no chance to give a free kick just outside the box.
Let me tell you, if I'm Henry Lansbury, I know that's coming, so all I'm going to do is get myself in the position.
Stand still.
Yes. Thanks very much. Yeah. Come through, you cup. Come through, and I'll go down, and I'll take that, and I'll say thanks very much, and I'll hopefully waste that last minute of this game, and we'll say thanks very much for the win.
Norwich are taking an awfully long time to take the free kick, a point that's not lost on the Forest players, who are saying to the referee that you should really add a bit more time on here because they're taking forever to take the free kick. Eventually they've retrieved the ball from the far side. I noticed there was an absence of a ball boy at the important time of the game to actually fetch it for anybody. Lansbury's put the free kick down. Holt has gone to stand on the far touchline right in front of the Forest supporters. Lansbury might fancy a pop at goal here. By my watch, we've played 40 seconds over the allotted 4 minutes already. Forest wall is a couple of yards inside the box. Lansbury over the free kick. Lansbury hits the free kick basically straight at the goalkeeper.
Wow.
And Camp will clear, and there's maybe one last opportunity for Nottingham Forest. Edwards lets it run through. Elliott Ward will try and allow it to run out of play. And now he's played the ball towards Gunter, who is tackled, and Norwich clear high into the Forest half. Chasing is Lansbury. Comes awkwardly off the head of Maloney and runs out towards Chambers on the far side. Chambers back to his goalkeeper, who's surrounded by yellow shirts. Eventually he plays it out to McKenna. McKenna lumps it forward. Up towards Morgan, who's playing as an emergency centre forward now. And there is the full-time whistle. Norwich City have gone second in the Coca-Cola Championship with a 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest. It's another blow to Forest's hopes of a place in the playoffs. But as far as Norwich City are concerned, it's exactly what they needed.
Right, I mean, coming here and seeing them in the flesh, which I've done quite a few times, just reiterates the thought that you can see exactly why they are where they are. They're not bothered. They go a goal behind. It doesn't matter. They still keep that self-belief. They still keep that character in the game. Tempo was fantastic. A marvellous game of football. And probably just about the right result as well.
So Norwich have gone second. Forest stay outside the top six with games running out. Huge 3 points for Paul Lambert and his team. It's finished. Norwich City 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
Massive 3 points. Thank you very much, Fletcher and the team. Norwich remain unbeaten at Carrow Road this calendar year. This is kicking off with Colin Murray on BBC Radio 5 Live Sport.